All right, welcome back to the next Straight Talk Uncensored show. Listen, we're not really focusing on anything tonight. We're just going to be doing an ad lib kind of thing, open mic. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So welcome again, and let me get right to the intro, and I'll be right back. Hold on, where is the intro? Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Well, here we go. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Straight Talk, where we are just focused in on what is true, what is factual, and not trying to give our opinion or our feelings. We don't give a damn about your feelings. We don't give a damn about your emotions. We just care about facts. The fact that my name is Isaiah, and the fact that I am here, and the fact that you can see me, obviously says a lot, and that is something that is factual. Kaya Laboka. Excuse my kids, so you know how that go. But anyway, tonight is a special night because I really want to kind of like talk about a whole bunch of things, and instead of just focusing on one thing that might last for 1 hour, 2 hours, I'm going to really try to make it into really a half an hour to an hour. But I really wanted to amalgamate total all of the things that I wanted to talk about, and try to make sense of it all and give some kind of a direction that I can put my finger on. So, Brother Maurice, if you're here, please bring a comment into the comment area. So this is directly to you because I really wanted to focus in on what you were going to try to do on X with the clowns, Harrison Pitt and Connor, some bullshit name. But anyways, these people got the motherfucking nerve to say that the original Europeans were not black, that they have no place in the British European monarchy and society as a whole, as if, you know, we didn't count. How can that be? Spain is only 20 miles from the tip of North Africa. So obviously, for 800 years, we ruled it. And always in Europe, every king and queen was a black man or woman. So what I'm going to do right now, hold on, I'm going to try to find that video. And then here we go. And then, hold on, let me see. That ought to be it. We're not going to play this one long, but it's you'll see, but it's ridiculous. The I'm white and I say so bullshit is still very prevalent. It's still very prevalent amongst these people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the screen, and then we'll show just a little bit about what these people are all about, and which is really nothing. So without further ado, we'll just go right on ahead and play this. You can find this on YouTube, matter of fact. Britain's Black History Holds. God damn. You know what, Brother Muhammad, if you are listening, please pay attention to this guy right here and his hair. If he ain't got nigga hair, I don't know what it is. But we're playing because this shit is stupid. These children of ours are stupid, and this guy in the middle is a fucking dumbass. His name is Connor something. I put it in your WhatsApp comments. and his guy, he's the host of the show. These two are the host of the show, Harrison and if I'm not mistaken, Eric or something like that. I don't know. But this guy's name is Harrison. Take a look at his hair. And this guy's name is Connor, some bullshit Connor last name. But I put all of that in your WhatsApp so you can get in contact with them and hopefully they'll come onto your show, they'll come onto my show, but I don't believe they're going to be coming because I wrote to them and I sent that to you too, on X, and I haven't heard a thing. So hopefully they'll come on and we have this very thought-provoking um, conversation, discussion. And, like any other fool that I try to write to, they're not going to come. But let me stop talking. They will be right back after watching just a little bit about, a little bit of this, maybe 1/4 of it. And I'll be right back.
You're watching Deprogram. This is the New Culture Forum's latest show, committed to fight.
Now look at it here. I'm not going to say anything. Just keep going.
Back against the forces of ideological conformity, particularly among the young. My name is Harrison Pitt. I'm a senior editor at the European Conservative, and I'm thrilled to be joined today, as ever, by Evan Riggs, who is a freelance journalist.
Yeah, and that guy's name is Evan Riggs. So
our special guest this week, Tom Rousel, an historian and the creator of the popular YouTube channel Survive the Jive. Now, Tom, you went fairly viral last week when you put out a pretty devastating takedown both on YouTube and on Twitter. I think on YouTube it's got about 190,000 views, and on Twitter about over 600,000 views. Pretty devastating takedown of the BBC's Horrible History sing-song for effectively lying about the genetic history of the British Isles. What moved you to produce a video on that?
Now keep in mind and pay attention to what this guy in the middle is saying, because he's contradicting himself so many motherfucking times. It's ridiculous. And excuse me, Brother Maurice, if you're not listening, or if you are listening, the guy's name is Tom Roswell. So I made that wrong. I thought it was Connor or something. But he's associated with this program called The New Something, The New Culture or something. But well, you can see it here at the bottom of the left side of the screen. But let me continue.
Subject and what do you think were the most egregious errors made in BBC production?
Well, thanks for having me, Harrison. I think I knew about it 2 years ago, and I sort of forgot about it. And then it was suddenly on Thursday, everyone was talking about it again. I thought it would be good to do a video and just specifically say what's wrong with each of the claims made in the song. And I've got 2 children now as well, and this is aimed at children. So I think 2 years ago, I didn't have, my first child was only born. Now I'm a bit more sensitive to misinformation directed at children, especially from state broadcaster like BBC. So I want to make sure that people realize that some of the material that's been directed at children isn't appropriate because it's very inaccurate and misleading. I think the most egregious claim within the song is the first one, which is that the Mesolithic hunter-gatherers of Europe were black. I think there were some people pushing back on my video, and what I think is quite a dishonest angle, saying like conflating black as a complexion, saying well they might have been dark skinned, but I point out in that video, obviously that these people didn't watch it, that within the legal framework of what black means in Britain, it's
now you see. Do I have to keep? You know what? Motherfucker, this bitch is simple-minded. Did you see how simple-minded white folks are? They're not white, they're not Caucasian, not Aryan, not Anglo-Saxon, they're just a bunch of bitch-ass motherfucking niggas. Troglodytes. And this is the reason why they suffer from mental illness. They're not white, they're not Caucasian, not Aryan, not Anglo-Saxon, they're not European. They're the worst fucking niggas on the goddamn planet. Troglodytes. But you can hear in his voice and what he's saying that black don't mean this, but dark skin, man, make up your motherfucking mind. All right, let's continue.
British refers to sub-Saharan African, regardless if in some other parts of colonial British colonies,
like Jamaica or
we,
Haiti.
we might have called non-Africans black. We might want to call, in some scenarios, Aboriginal Australians black. But we don't do that now. And within the video, there is a montage. The man singing is a man of African ancestry. And there's a little montage of famous black British people at the end. And they're all Africans. There's no South Asian, for example.
Yes.
So if they were saying that Cheddar Man is black because of skin color, why didn't they show some Indian people? Because they are black by that definition.
When you say that there's a montage, and by the way, everyone should watch this video on YouTube. Like,
I'm sorry, I meant like a collage rather than a montage, because there's all like cutouts of the photographs of different famous black British
today. So people like Stormzy and people like Marcus Rashford.
I didn't recognise them. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. So okay, yes, and so that the most egregious claim was the first one about Cheddar Man.
Well, they were trying to claim, they were trying to indicate that the name of the song is, well, we've always been here.
Been here from the start.
Been here from the start, and we is doing a lot of legwork in that title. Who is we? Well, the man singing is a man of sub-Saharan African origin, and all the people at the end shown are people of sub-Saharan African origin. So I think you can reasonably conclude that we means people of sub-Saharan African origin.
Not Western hunter-gatherers and not North Africans either. People, emperors like Septimus Severus, who may have had a slightly darker complexion than anyone here does, but is not sub-Saharan African in.
Now look at his hair, please. Look at the guy named Harrison's hair. Let's continue.
In that meaningful way, which they themselves make clear. When at the end they say, look, here's the proof of this continuous black history in the British Isles. The fact that people like Stormzy and Marcus Rashford are here today, you know, this is what it's flowered into. It's like, well, no, that's a much more recent development. The fact that people like Stormzy and Marcus Rashford exist as citizens in Britain has a lot more to do with what's happened in terms of immigration over the last 60 years since 1948. Primarily, than it does with anything that was going on in 10,000 BC.
Quite so.
And all that. Okay.
I guess maybe the biggest question would be, why do you think the BBC is so keen to promote this sort of like historical revisionism that we see? I mean, we studied ancient history, especially with the Vikings and the different sort of pagan tribes up north, and I mean now even if you look on Netflix, you know, you'll see like black Viking queens, you know, Roman.
The Vikings, all of them motherfuckers were black.
Around on horseback, and it just seems to be so incredibly pervasive, this sort of revisionism, which seems, I mean, actually really kind of bizarre. It seems like a massive overreach to me, because why would the world need to be diverse from the very outset? Like, why would you actually need to prove, like, why would modern diversity be sort of instantiated upon this sort of like ancient legacy? Like, it's okay that people were, you know, separated and segmented and homogenous for a very long time. That's not intrinsically a bad thing.
Well, I think it's quite interesting what you brought up, because the framing sort of legitimizes the position that they're actually trying to oppose, because the nativist argument would say, you know, we've been here, we were here first, and this is our country, and that's an argument against immigration. Well, they're by trying to legitimize the presence of sub-Saharan Africans in Britain today. They're trying to, you know, sort of proto-chronological argument where they're pushing back the arrival of these people to try and give it legitimacy. Well, they're saying therefore that having a longer period of habitation within an area gives you more of a right. Which is they're legitimizing the nativist argument.
They're saying that there's a nativist prescriptive right to settlement, and it's also the sort of thing that they will happily admit in other parts of the world. I mean, you know, you good luck finding a liberal in Britain who isn't willing to defend the right of Aboriginal Australians to remain a majority in, say, the 18th century, or, you know, the Maori in New Zealand. You know, other people's nativist prescriptive right to having some kind of national homeland is granted, even retrospectively, even before international law existed on these sorts of issues. And now that it does exist, it's denied to people in Europe.
Sure, yeah, it's like nationalism for the Ukrainians and nobody else. Nativism for, you know, everywhere that the British people went, but not for the Brits.
Indeed, yeah, and that seems to be the trend. So there's a very insidious liberal double standard on this question.
Now, let me say this. I've said this on this platform, on my platform, and on Brother Maurice's platform that these people, white people, come from Dravidian Albania that made it with normal black people. Black people put in Central Asia. Over time, they got intermixed, interbreeding, or whatever you want to call it, miscegenation between uh, their relatives and normal black folks, and all hell broke loose when they um, sided with, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, and with the Turks who were slaves in the beginning when the white so-called pale-skinned people began to assimilate within the Turkish, I don't want to say regime or society is a better word. And so there wasn't a constant heaviness of slavery on those pale-skinned people. So they were able to become, let's say, for example, mayors and governors and the ultimate person in charge of the whole country. I don't know what you want to call him, president. It wasn't president, but something along that line. And so after that formation of or union, they were able to break past the Persian Wall. Now we created the Hadrian Wall in order to keep these savages out, but that wasn't enough. And after they became united with the so-called paler skinned Turks, who were originally black people, and after so many generations of miscegenation between the black Turks and the pale skin, they produced a people who were like these guys. And so, hey, let's try to do something. Let's try to get away from this persecution between the. Let me make sure I get this right. The Mongol, the Turks, the Persian. They were being treated like target practice. Their bodies and skin of their bodies were being turned into door panels and book covers. Even King James' book, the Holy Bible that he wrote, was made off of these people's skin. So once they get into the Western Holy Roman Empire, which is the Black Empire and the papacy, they took that over because we were just being ran over by these people. You got to remember the Black Death was coming at that point too. So that devastated our ability to be able to defend our position. And so the Black papacy out of France was out of Italy was pushed into France. And so the 30 Years' War, 10 Years' War, French Revolution, and all of that, these were race wars and all of the things that happened in England and so on and so forth. But I don't want to get too far into that, but you can get what I'm saying. These people are not the original inhabitants of any place other than where we put them, Central Asia. So I'll let this continue to play.
I think it has a lot to do with trying to turn the population. So I think a lot of people go along with it, these ideas because they're ignorant. I think that's probably largely true. But there are lots of people who are certainly aware of the fact that the sub-Saharan African presence in this country is of much more recent provenance. And it seems to me that the only reason I can think of why they would be willing to lie about it is precisely to provide a post hoc justification for what has already happened, because to try and present the unprecedented rates of immigration we've seen in the last 60 years as part of a long-running historical trend rather than an aberration.
Yes.
And to provide a post hoc justification. But that seems to me what's going on, and particularly directed at children. What you're effectively trying to do is turn the next generation into amnesiacs in relation to their own history, which is a very sinister thing to be trying to do. I just very quickly, I want to recount a story about my youngest brother, Toby. He's age 14, and John Blank. Tell our viewers who John Blank is, because he's mentioned in the video as well. I think it's the only thing they actually get right.
Yeah, well, he's the only example of a black person who I think can be widely agreed by every historian definitely was a black person of sub-Saharan African origin. The others are, some of them certainly not, or probably not. This one they got right, but in this case, the problem is they exaggerated his importance. He was a trumpeter in the court of King Henry VIII, and I think Henry VII as well previously. I'm not an historian of the Tudor.
I actually don't think that's true. I think because I think it was just Henry VIII, because I think he came along with Catherine of Aragon's entourage when Henry married Catherine. I think it was 1516. But in any case, yes, he was a pretty insignificant historical figure. He played a trumpet, and yet his Wikipedia page is enormous. What was not actually enormous, but it's much bigger than it should be. And good luck finding any white trumpeters in the court of Henry VIII who get that kind of
all the many musicians and jesters and whatever he would have had. Not no one even knows their names.
Indeed. Well, this is the story. My youngest brother Toby, who's now 14, had a whole lesson devoted to John Blank in school. And so I thought I'd do a little experiment. It's just a single experiment, but I encourage everyone else to our viewers to do it if they have children. I said, okay, so you know who John Blank is. You had a whole lesson devoted to John Blank. Do you know who Martin Luther is? Do you know who John Calvin is? And do you know who Thomas Cromwell was? And he only knew who Luther. Was. He didn't know who the other two were. And he even remarked himself when I told him who Thomas Cromwell was. Said, "God, so you need to say that in school I've been taught about Henry VIII's trumpeter, but not his Lord Privy Seal." Yeah, that's the situation in which we find ourselves. But what do you think of this then? Why do you think there's this impetus?
Within the educational system, there's certain belief that, like, in order to, and it's not actually unfounded, there is some research to show it's true that providing role models for children who look like them, are like from their same ethnic background, encourages them. And also it showed that I can't remember the study, but it's a psychology study where they showed that children who felt proud of their origins were more likely to perform well. Well, if that is so, then what is the effect of being here from the start on the white majority who are subjected to this?
I would be proud of the trumpeter. Yeah. I mean, also too. I mean, if we're really living in sort of this multicultural, globalized, Britain, London, why can't you pull from anywhere else in the world or any other part of the Commonwealth to find a hero that looks like you? Like, why do you have to kind of like go back 600 years to find some guy who is just essentially a non-entity? Just pull from forget Martin Luther. What about Martin Luther King? Does he not also apply?
Yes. Yes, but no, I agree, and that is an interesting point you make about how if the concession is being made at the outset that people are more likely to gravitate towards role models if they look like them, then if you're basically writing all of the most important iconic figures in British history out of the script, Gladstone is dragged through the mud, Churchill's being dragged through the mud, practically everyone with any kind of name recognition in British history is being dragged through the mud. And what impact is this going to have? How is this going to demoralize the long-established ancestral population of these islands? But let's go into obviously the BBC is trying to falsify the genetic history of the British Isles for very obvious, I would say, modern day political purposes to do with diversity and racial politics. You know quite a lot about the genetic history of these islands, so let's go into that a little bit, because I think it's important that viewers are better informed to react to this sort of thing. So starting with the Western hunter-gatherers, like what genetic imprint have the Western hunter-gatherers had on the formation of the early population of Britain?
Well, at the time they existed, there wasn't Britain. It was just the continent was connected to the Britain. It wasn't yet an island. Okay. So it's somewhat anachronistic to even talk about Britain at that stage in history. Okay. Which is why I got annoyed when they talk about the first Britons were black. There were no Britons. The Britons were a Celtic people in the Iron Age. The Mesolithic is a warm period following the Ice Age, and the previous diversity that had of Paleolithic Europe started to be reduced to just one race, if you like to use that term. Scientists don't, they would say population. And that was pretty much the same all across Western Europe.
Now let me stop it right here, because the minute this motherfucker start talking about race, he has already lost the debate, the discussion, the conversation. There's no such fucking thing as race. So he's dead in the water right there. Let's continue.
A different population lived in Eastern Europe. There are two populations in Europe, the Eastern hunter-gatherer and the Western hunter-gatherer. We today descend from both, but we now have more ancestry from the Eastern ones, actually, due to the Bronze Age, things that happened in the Bronze Age. But the Western hunter-gatherers, we've known since at least
I don't-
2016 that they lack the alleles associated with lighter complexions in modern Europeans. Gene expression is quite complicated. To verify, I'm a historian, I'm not a geneticist, but I know a bit about the way genes cause phenotypes, that's the expression of visible genes in behaviors in the body. But even when we're predicting a modern person's skin color, for example, the currency, wouldn't be 100% confident if you guess it. You've got to be in the right sort of ballpark. But when an ancient population, which will have different genes affecting complexion, it's less confident. For example, the Koreans lack the genes associated with lighter skin in that Europeans have today. But you wouldn't say a Korean was black.
No,
There are other genes involved besides the ones that we have now that are affecting complexion. So yeah, the likelihood that they were dark skinned, but how dark is pretty hard to say. And scientists looking at different WHG, Western hunter-gatherer skeletons in different parts of the world, not
They were dark skinned, but how dark he don't man, shut the fuck up. You see how this shit is going? I'm white and I say so. That's all that needs to be said. Oh boy. Now you know motherfucking well he ain't coming up on your show, Brother Marie, nor my show and talk about a motherfucking thing other than what he wants to say. And nobody ain't pushing back on him. They just, going along with it.
Four is famous in Luxembourg, La Man in Spain. Our one is Cheddar Man. He's the most famous one in Britain. But they all say probably dark-ish. But no one in Europe has made anywhere near a claim that they were as dark as the science behind Cheddar Man. And I pointed out in a different video that one of the men behind the Cheddar Man reconstruction in 2018 was Tom Booth, who works for the Natural History Museum, or he did then. He's a geneticist. And he had previously collaborated with some academics from my university, UCL, the year before, 2017. And they basically said that they needed to change the way, scientists and historians need to change the way we talk about ancient people and report on genetics in the media, because otherwise you feed into white supremacist narratives and Brexit-related things. So he was specifically bringing up Brexit as a problem. And within a year later, he was encouraging the darkest. They had a phenotype prediction range for the skin complexion of Cheddar Man. And he went for the darkest model possible for the reconstruction, which he didn't make. It was a professional reconstruction, forensic reconstruction. And anyway, then the media took photos of it, and the photos were darkened even further when you see the actual reconstruction is a bit lighter than the photographs on the front page. So there's been a process to push to get to this final stage, which is a very unrepresentative.
I think maybe it'd be even worth pointing out that even if you or I had completely jet black skin, but nothing else was different, we would also still not be sub-Saharan African as black, because obviously skin color is the most obvious difference, but there are other differences in sort of general physiognomy, hair texture, different ways.
Physiognomy, skull shape, hair. Are you fucking kidding me? Like black folk don't have straight hair, motherfucker? Where do you think you got your shit from? Where do you think you got your blue eyes from? You see how stupid these motherfuckers are? Do I really, really, really need to go into this shit? That's why these motherfuckers not gonna come on the show, buddy. Not gonna come on the show. And please forgive me. I cut the video off because I'm eating right now. I don't want y'all to get hungry while I'm eating.
Sickle cell blood types. There are actual differences. These people all had blue eyes. Yes. At that stage, all the people.
By these people, you mean the Western hunter-gatherers?
Western hunter-gatherers did not have the diversity of eye colors associated with modern Europeans. They only had blue eyes, and we have blue eyes today because of them. So that's inherited directly from them. Anyone in the world who has blue or green eyes, because green eyes is when you have a mixture of brown and blue eyes. So
it's actually one of the points you make well in the video, and it's great, Andy. The sort of racism that people are worried necessarily emerges from this kind of scientific investigation. That you point out how Nelson Mandela, despite obviously being sub-Saharan African, unquestionably being sub-Saharan African, actually has lighter skin than many Tamil people. That much darker skin, but it doesn't mean that it's
Sub-Saharan African. There's no such thing as hold on. bring my video back up. There's no such thing as sub-Saharan Africa. Don't buy into that shit. That's like saying the Middle East. The Middle East is Northeast Africa. There is no such thing as sub-Saharan Africans. Stop buying into this bullshit. They blowing smoke up your ass. And it's obvious that they're lying. Hey, what's up, brother Willie? You're right. Hold on. Yeah, they're mentally sick. Yeah, you're right. And good evening, sir. So, yeah, man, look, I done got over these motherfuckers a long time ago. Cause they're not right in the brain. So let's go back.
It would be ludicrous, even if it would never happen, but even if we were to find a Tamil, you know, I don't know the necessary terminology, but let's say that we were to find some kind of Tamil, you know,
look at his hair.
8,000 years ago in Britain, that wouldn't substantiate the claim that black people have been here from the start either, unless you're being very permissive with your use of the term black.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're checking your phone, stop that. Instead, try this technique from the mind science pioneer.
I think so too. And it's important to recognize that we have legal meaning for black when you're using like
For the census.
Yeah, it means the sub-Saharan African. And in America as well, in the speaking place, when they say black, they do not mean Tamils, they do not mean Aboriginal Australians, they only mean that. So it's very disingenuous when people start saying, oh, you know, it's just talking about a skin color. It's not talking about a skin color. And even when we're using old, you know, outdated terminology of race, the word race comes from an Italian word that means lineage, and therefore isn't really talking about phenotypes. Even if early scientists like Darwin for one, but Linnaeus as well was the first.
Swedish.
Yeah, he was the first to create taxonomy of human.
Yeah, he talked about Darwin. Darwin is a motherfucking liar who got all of his information, excuse me for talking with the food in my mouth. He was taught by a black guy. And Al-Jahiz, A-L-J-A-H-I-Z, is and was and will forever be the father of evolution. This is where Darwin got his shit from. Al-Jahiz, A-L-J-A-H-I-Z, talked about these dogged ass motherfuckers because they're the lowest of the low, saying that they have not ever evolved. And all kind of things that Darwin was talking about black folks. Al-Jahiz, who lived 1,000 years before Darwin, was saying it's about these motherfuckers. So anytime you see or hear a motherfucker talking to these white bitches and bastards, talking about black folks, you better believe they got that shit from somebody black talking about them, which is absolute truth. There's a video in which Yale University geneticists, top geneticists from Yale, from China, from Japan, from other places, were saying that the monkey, and you got the monkey, you got the gorilla, the monkey scored a 4 on the intelligence quotient test, genetically speaking. The gorilla, a 5, and white folks, 6. Now, where did black people fit into that range? A 9 out of 10. You might well say 10. And the Chinese people are the same way. Any motherfucker that got pale skin is a deficiency. They are genetically recessive. They have no importance in history. Excuse me. The original people of China and Japan were black people. But let me continue.
Races, and you know, they may have used phenotype to group people, but that wasn't because they were grouping them just by phenotype. They were grouping them by lineages, and
Yes.
I mean, it's disingenuous to try and conflate the two. And it's not really, we're not talking about skin color. We're talking about populations,
Yes.
different populations.
So I was a little bit anachronistic then. You rightly corrected me when I said you talked about Western hunter-gatherers being the original Britons. But so the original Britons are the Celts. Is that correct?
Well,
Let's talk about let's talk about the sort of the different peoples that have gone into forming
Sure.
what we now call the original Britons.
Go on.
Yeah. Who's really been in that stuff?
Well, that lineage, those Western hunter-gatherers were largely replaced across Western Europe. Were from 8,000 years ago, the first farmers left Anatolia, what's now Turkey,
Yes.
moved through the Balkans in two ways. Some went up the Danube into Central Europe.
Now you're talking about 8,000 years ago. These motherfuckers just got here 4,000 years ago. If that, I'm giving them another 1,000 years just to be gracious. But they really got here 3,000 years ago. Let's continue.
Some went along the Mediterranean around to Iberia, and then the two different groups reconvened about 7,000 years ago in France, and then they moved to Britain and Scandinavia, the last places they colonized and started to introduce farming to them.
And what is the name of these people?
They're known when they were in Anatolia, they were referred to as Anatolian hunter-gatherers. But once they had moved once they developed farming, they're sometimes called Anatolian Neolithic farmers.
Yeah.
Once they come into Europe and mix with the Western hunter-gatherers, they're called early European farmers. So the early European farmers conquered Europe in the sense that they brought farming, but the Western hunter-gatherers were like still living alongside them in little corners, in the woods or whatever, while the good farmland was now being taken by farmers. There's a lot of benefits to having farming and some drawbacks. We won't go into that now, but these people were themselves later replaced. I should say that my paternal and my maternal lineages, both, this is an unusual thing, not most people wouldn't say this, but both of them come from Western hunter-gatherers. So the idea that they just completely wiped out is not true. We have Western hunter-gatherer DNA, not very much of it, but it's in us now, and we are the only people who have any, claim of kinship with these extinct people. So although we're not the same as them, because we descend a lot from the Anatolians, I'd say maybe 5 or 10% of our DNA comes from the Western hunter-gatherers, but 40 to 50% comes from the Anatolians.
And sorry, when you say our DNA, are you referring to the DNA of
Northwest Europeans?
modern Northwest Europeans, and that would include us, and that would also include the French. That would also include
No, it does not include you,
Those French,
motherfucker.
they're a lot more Anatolian than us. They've got a lot more of the farmer DNA than we do.
But when the Celts, so the Celts are, I think, regarded as
Later on.
much later on, but they're regarded as sort of, if you're talking about the original Britons, you would talk about the Celts, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, the term Britain is used by the Romans to describe the people of this island. And at that time, they were Celtic-speaking people with Brythonic language. And the word...
Motherfucker, these bitches didn't start talking until 1,000 years ago. So what the fuck they talking about? And they couldn't read or write.
Britain may or may not mean tattooed people, which is probably could be a name that the Gallic tribes use for them, or it could be something they call themselves. We don't really know, but Britannia is what the Romans referred to this island as.
I'm gonna let it run until 30 minutes, and then I switch to something else or something more supportive of this, because this is the one that really got up under my skin. This is the same guy it looked like that's in this middle talking about Shane Black. These are or were iconoclastic images that white folk painted over. Real simple to see, real simple to know, but I'll continue.
After the people who lived here, and they were not the same as the Anatolians. There's a really huge event in history that happened 2,500 BC, just as Stonehenge was being finished. There was an invasion of another people who were significantly descended from Neolithic Ukrainians, and they ushered in the Bronze Age to Britain, and they replaced approximately 90% of the population of this island. It was a huge event in history, and this was only people in the 19th century. Scientists used to think that this might have happened. It was became very unpopular in the early 20th century, up until 2015, when a paper was released that New Scientific.
Why was it unpopular?
It was associated with, partly with Victorian and colonial, outdated anthropological techniques, but also somewhat associated with Gustav Cosima, who was a an archaeologist who became associated with the Nazis to some extent, but he was.
Now I know he ain't. Well, he does go into it, or he does. What's the word? He does indicate that the Jews were white. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll continue. Excuse me.
Unfortunately for modern anthropologists, historians, archaeologists, and quite embarrassingly for them, a lot of those theories turn out to be right when brought under modern scientific scrutiny, which since the 1960s as well, a lot of the humanities have been about bashing earlier forms of academic discipline, and I know one person said that we're asking. We're asking 20th century questions with 21st century technology and getting 19th century answers. It's quite funny.
Yes.
But that happened, and that actually, these people in this part of the world, that Ukrainian element called Western steppe herders is brought into this island by a culture called the Belgian people, and associated with their alcoholic. Their beverage containers, their vessels, ceramic vessels, and we largely descend from them.
Okay.
And they spoke a language which would not belong to the same language family as Celtic and English, but it wasn't Celtic or English. And the Scots, especially even today, are pretty much the same, and the Irish as well, pretty much just the same as those people.
Yes.
But England, being closer to the continent, has had more influence subsequently from other migrations than the rest of these isles have. The next migration was quite minor, and that was the first Celtic speakers, which would have been sometime around 800 BC. It didn't result.
Now you heard him. He's talking about migration. This was a fucking invasion. These two invasions of these motherfuckers into our empire, not only in America, but the Western Empire of our papacy and Italy, and then eventually throughout all of Europe. It was King James that was sending these motherfuckers over to the America as slaves. Now, if you want to call a serf a slave, a slave a serf, that's fine, but it's still the same shit. The word slave comes from Indo-European Slavic people. And none of them motherfuckers were dark skinned at all. They have always been our slave and will always be our slave. It's just this little temporary bullshit they're going through right now that they're dying. Trump can't even save these motherfuckers. Their birth rate is so low, it's ridiculous because they don't belong on this motherfucking planet. And you're going to hear this white girl telling you this. I might play that the next. Yeah, you know, I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that shit. That shit is funny than a motherfucker, but I'm going to play it. But let me finish this.
In a huge shift like the Baltic migration, more of a concentrated influence in the southeast of this island, and it would have been brought over by people who were genetically what we call French people today, but they spoke Celtic languages, and for some reason the languages of the Celts spread across the British Isles and became the dominant languages.
And when was this roughly?
Yeah, sometime maybe 900, 800 BC. It's not accompanied by a huge invasion like the Beaker folk, where 90% of the population was replaced in just 200 years.
Yeah.
But it was a gradual trickle of French DNA coming in,
Sure.
which probably represents merchants or settlers. It's not very clear exactly what was happening at that period. All we know is that the result is Celtic languages dominate, and Celtic culture as well. You start to see imperial culture coming in. And then the Romans come after that, of course,
Yes.
which was what this is now the historical period where we have.
Now you got to remember, you talking about the Romans and the Greek. The Romans and the Greek come from what's the name? Oh shit. Etruscans or whatever the case may be. These were the predecessors of Greece and Rome, and they get all of their architecture. And you cannot help but to see in Greece and Rome today the architectural foundation of Egypt there. But they probably don't know that shit. Let's continue.
Written text explaining who was involved, the names of the generals,
Yes.
everything. But the genetic record shows that there was no lasting impact
Of the Roman.
settlement.
And it's a really excellent point which you make in your video, which made me think a great deal. It's an excellent point about no one in a million years would say that the American invasion of Iraq or the American invasion of Afghanistan, just because troops were stationed there, garrisons were stationed there, have had a huge genetic impact on the population of Afghanistan, on the population of Iraq. And yet it seems
Now look at it here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on.
to be part of the cause that, activists will make a huge amount of the fact that there were, because the Roman army was pretty multicultural and multi-ethnic. Oh, a North African soldier manned Hadrian's Wall, therefore we've always been multicultural. Whereas it doesn't mean that there was any sort of lasting genetic impact of that administrative role that the Romans played here. Because once they left, when they leave, was it AD 70 that they got thrown out by the Celts in Britain? Whatever.
Well, they didn't get thrown out by the Celts much. I think they just they started pulling their forces back in because it wasn't really worth it. They didn't, and the empire was the Western Empire was falling to bits, and there was not. They didn't want to. I guess it was a bit like how people retreat from India. I guess just weren't powerful enough to maintain power.
Yes, but there wasn't a massive civil war afterwards. Anyway, okay, so in AD 70, so I think it was in AD 70. I could be wrong. Fact check as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But AD 70, the Romans leave Britannia without having.
Later than that, actually.
Was it later?
Yeah,
when was it?
It was in the 5th century, I believe.
Was it?
Later on, yeah. Not. God, I don't know the exact year. Sorry, but I think.
Never mind. It doesn't matter too much. But once the Romans had left, the population was still pretty intact in terms of its genetic makeup.
The population of the Britain, South Britain, especially, which is where the Romans were, what's now England, was not indifferent. It wasn't different autosomally from what it had been prior to the invasion.
What's that word?
Autosomally is so usually when people look at genetic studies, they're either looking at uniparental markers, which are haplogroups, which that kind of study has been around since the 90s, but more recently people prefer to look at autosomal DNA, which is more like your overall around ancestry, and it's more revealing. It doesn't. Yeah, it's what people look at when you're doing DNA tests, that kind of thing, like I'm 50% Irish or whatever like that,
So sorry that these technical questions keep interrupting the narrative, but anyway, continue.
So, there had been, we know from Roman DNA in Rome and in the British Isles that Rome in general was extremely diverse. That is true. It was a very multi-ethnic, and in fact, the city of Rome, which had previously been genetically very European in the Republic era, during the Imperial era became essentially a Middle Eastern city. It was so populated by North Africans and Middle Eastern. So it did become less European, and there weren't even many Middle Eastern people stationed in Britain. There could have been some black people, but we haven't found any. I said that there aren't any we can point at, but it's possible there were some. But certainly all the people they're pointing at in that video are not black.
To talk about Septimus Severus very quickly.
Septimus Severus was he was half Punic, which is like a Semitic colony in North Africa.
Sort of like.
I'm gonna rewind that for a minute. Motherfucker, everybody were black in Greece and Rome. The so-called Persian didn't come until later. And now he's talking about Septimus Severus, who was the emperor of Rome, and his son Caligula. Ah, boy.
Modern days of Tunisia, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But they would have had significant amounts of Levantine.
Oh yes, I'm not saying genetic.
Oh, let me rewind it a little bit.
Autosomally is so usually when people look at genetic studies, they're either looking at uniparental markers, which are haplogroups, which that kind of study has been around since the 90s. But more recently, people prefer to look at autosomal DNA, which is more like your overall around ancestry, and it's more revealing. It doesn't. Yeah, it's what people look at when they're doing DNA tests, that kind of thing, like I'm 50% Irish or whatever like that,
So sorry that these technical questions keep interrupting the narrative, but anyway, continue.
So, there had been, we know from Roman DNA in Rome and in the British Isles that Rome in general was extremely diverse. That is true. It was a very multi-ethnic, and in fact, the city of Rome, which had previously been genetically very European in the Republic era, during the Imperial era became essentially a Middle Eastern city. It was so populated by North Africans and Middle Eastern. So it did become less European, and there weren't even many Middle Eastern people stationed in Britain. There could have been some black people, but we haven't got.
Now you heard them, Middle East, and these motherfuckers in the Middle East were black people or Northeast Africa motherfuckers. What the fuck are you talking about? Like the Middle East has some kind of a special color. If you go back and look at the Middle East, even in the 1920s, from 1880 down, all them motherfuckers were black skinned. The Levantine area, better known as today as the Middle East. But these stupid motherfuckers, they just saying whatever the fuck they want to say because I'm white and I say so. That's it. Hold on.
Any actual, we haven't found it. I said there aren't any that you point at, but it's possible there were some. But certainly all the people they're pointing at in that video
Yeah.
are not black.
To talk about Septimus Severus very quickly.
Septimus Severus was he was half Punic, which is like a Semitic colony in North Africa.
Sort of like modern days.
The Punic people were black people. The city of Carthage, motherfucker. God damn.
Tunisia, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But they would have had significant amounts of Levantine.
Oh yes, I'm not saying genetically, just geographically.
Yeah. So and then he was half Roman, probably certainly half Italian. So I'd say he would look pretty like someone from the Mediterranean. If not like an Arab, he might look like an Italian, but he wouldn't have looked like what we'd now call a black.
But it's hilarious though, because they claim him as black, and again, as you point out in the video, there are historical sources, which may be apocryphal, you point out, attesting to the fact that when Septimus Severus encountered a sub-Saharan African on the eve of battle, he regarded it as a...
Here we go with the sub-Saharan. There's no such thing. They're dead in the war with that too. Dead in the fucking war. There's no such thing.
Terrible omen.
Death omen.
And wanted him removed from the ranks. And so not only was he not black, as you said, he was a racist by any modern definition.
Even if that story is apocryphal, it's contemporary, so it still reflects. It's plausible enough that it could be true for a contemporary telling. So that means it reflects a common attitude at the time,
absolutely,
even if it isn't an actual event that happened historically.
And I think it's fair to say then that what's that first migration you talked about? The really significant one, the
Bell Beaker.
The Bell Beaker. And before we came on air, you said that you think that the consensus is that the second most significant migratory flow into Britain was the Anglo-Saxon one, which I think happened in about the 5th century or the 6th century.
Mid-5th century. It begins in the early 5th century. But obviously, I was wrong to say that the Roman Empire left in the 5th century. But the Anglo-Saxon one, it initially resulted in a 75 to 80% replacement of the population of the eastern side of the island. But then that very, very Germanicized eastern side mixed with the more Brythonic western side to create something more similar to the current levels of distribution, whereby modern English people range from a minimum of 25% to a maximum of about 50% Anglo-Saxon. Really? So it's a pretty significant, not as significant as the Bell Beaker migration, but
where you say it's about 90%, the Bell Beaker.
About 90% replacement of the population.
Yeah.
So,
hold on.
Descubre el email de GoDaddy con Microsoft 365.
So would it be fair to say then, Tom, that what we're currently living through in modern day Britain is the biggest sort of genetic shift in the population, the makeup of this island in 1500 years?
I'm going to cut it right here. If you want to finish this bullshit interview that he's doing with Harrison, who has hair like a black guy. Every hair type is black. Every phenotype is black. Every whatever is black. Because everybody get their shit from us. Don't ever forget that. And don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. What a KS. So don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. Period. They're bullshit artists, they con artists. So I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go straight to the video where the white girl is hold on. It's talking about I want to play these guys too because they can sing their ass off. Just about some soul. But we're gonna get to that. Hold on. Let me see. You can see that this is a damn shame here. Hold on, let me find that video, and I'll be right back with you guys. Oh, here we go. So, it's a minute long, so I'm gonna let it play out, and then I'll be right back.
on this app
Hold on,
right
hold on.
now. I'm about to piss every white person off on this app right now. Oh shit, here we go. I just saw a TikTok that said, what if white people didn't exist? And then I remembered we aren't supposed to exist. Being white is a genetic mutation. We don't exist naturally. White people literally come from when Pangea was a thing, and then we split up into different continents, and then people moved further away from the equator and bred lighter and lighter skinned people and even albinos until white people were created.
There's no motherfucking proof of anybody of dark skin moving further away from the equator and getting lighter. Even that is an admission that they're not white. They're just bleached out black people or from the climate. But these people don't come from colder climates, motherfucker. The Eskimos who are dark skinned are still living in those cold ass fucking climates. So that kills it dead in the fucking water. These people come from Dravidian albinos of India that made it with normal black people who created these octoroon motherfuckers, badass kids of ours that have wreaked havoc upon the earth. We're living in a matrix of lies and deceit. Let me continue.
No matter what, have the audacity to be like, we're the Aryan race, we're the supreme race, baby. How can you be the supreme race when you weren't even a race to begin with? You can't be superior. You were never supposed to exist.
Well, yeah. Yeah. This guy saying Snooky Bay. Man, come on, man. You know that's true. Hold on, let me see this. She's telling the truth. Okay. Well, somebody's checking them. She didn't lie. And a whole bunch of other ones. Oh, well, I'm not gonna go through those. But here's another one. You got to remember, guys, and for everybody that's listening who will listen to this video, that white people don't have a history, they don't have a culture, they don't have a language that they can call their own. Everything they got from us, black folk. We are their motherfucking daddy. Hold on. My boy about to come on. So we're their mother and father. The black man and woman is the parent or parents of all of humanity. The black woman is God. That's from which we come. We have a maternal linkage and heritage, not a paternal one. And I really don't want to show this one because it's really embarrassing. But this is supposed to be the body of Jesus Christ. It's a fucking plaster. Why are you crying over motherfucking plaster? Man, I swear to God, these people need to be off, unalive, because we don't do this. You know what I mean? Putin has already discredited all of this bullshit. All of the saints, all of the you name it, Jesus, Mama, Daddy, all these motherfuckers were black people. But you know what? I'm gonna play it. Let me see. It ain't that long. This is embarrassing. It really is. Embarrassing. See, now if I came along with a shotgun and blew all that shit up, they'd kill me. This is how brainwashed they are. They have no recollection of their history, of their culture, of their language, nothing. This is happening in Africa. Stupid niggas. I can't stand these motherfuckers. I really can't. They're not like us in America. This is why we delineate from these motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this shit loose, man. 'Cause this shit is fucking embarrassing. But hold on. I'm going to go back here and stop the screen for a minute. Now this is really uh, I don't know. This is beyond the pale, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, she's lying. Right, brother Willie. But this is why it's so important to understand history. But when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. Truthful history determines how you walk, how you talk, what you see, what you feel, and everything else in between and after that and before that. Above that and below that. That's why it's so important to understand your history, my people. Know that you are great and you come from greatness. Let not one of these motherfuckers ever tell you that you are nothing. They are the ones who are nothing. They go through hell and high water to hide who you are. If they were so fucking superior, why do they have to bring up and erect obstacles in your way, black man, black woman, black people? Because they're scared. They know that you will overtake them in everything, economic, political, spiritual, physical. You are the I am that I am. You are our ancestors. We are our ancestors. I am is my real name. I am that I am. Aye, Asha, Aye, Soy, K, Soy, or whatever language you want to use. The power of the mind is powerful. You can see that with that white alabaster fucking statue on the ground that they were weeping over. Fucking ridiculous. Know who you are. Stand on business. Stand on the shoulders of your ancestors. They're waiting on us. Every word that I'm speaking right now, not just coming from me, it's coming from our ancestors that want you to know who you are and how powerful you are. That without you, the world cannot exist and would not exist. And these motherfucking wannabe white bitches and bastards wouldn't exist without us. We can produce them, but they cannot produce us. Hold on, let me go right back to the share screen and we'll try to knock these out. And my boy said he'll be here at 10 o'clock, so it's 9:06 here in the Dominican Republic, so we got another hour. I'm gonna try to stay a little bit longer, but you know how I get without rubbing my eyes and rubbing my head. That's kind of it. But let me get right to the share screen and we'll kind of get around it. Let's see what's up. All right, so let me see. How does this work? I'm still trying to learn how you do it, Brother Maurice, and then it shows the video that I want to show here. I still don't understand that, but I get to it. But if you can, please explain that to me, so I can go right to it. So let me see what this is about. Hold on. So we did that one. Now, this is 37 minutes long. I'm not gonna go through it, the whole thing, but I just want you to get the point. This is a Professor Crunk. She is a professor at Rutgers, if I'm saying that, Rutgers University. I think that's in New York. And we'll play a little bit of it But if you want to see the rest of it, you can. She's really getting in her getting in their ass. So hold on, I might play it all the way because okay, last year we'll play half, 20 minutes of it. It's a little bit, almost 40 minutes. Then we'll do the other part. But I'm gonna play it all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I have a very, very interesting topic that I am going to be sharing with you. Some words that were spoken by a professor at Rutgers University has some people bothered. And I'm going to be talking about the statement that was made. I'm going to play a short video clip for you. In the video clip, there is someone who is opposing what she is saying. And in the full video, they pretty much try to say that her version of history is not objective. They're trying to say that she's rewriting history or that she is making these fantastic renditions of history on some very basic things. I am going to share the video clip, but what we see happening is actually people that are such as this woman. She is a professor. She is very smart. She is teaching history in its true form, not in the fabricated form that we were made to believe. And it is indeed making some people very uncomfortable with the things that are being said. Of course, she says a whole lot more than what's being presented here in the video. She was doing an interview with The Root. And again, it was picked apart by this guy, this Edomite, that doesn't really care for what she has to say. And so, of course, whenever so-called Black people present any information about history or about the world or about the indigenous people, they can't accept it. And so he thinks there's a bunch of hogwash, y'all. He thinks her point of view is hogwash. Anyway, I want you all to consider going ahead and sharing the video so that others can join into the live broadcast. And of course, you all know that if you watch this on the replay, you can also share the video still. I can show you a screenshot. I will be showing you a screenshot so that you can take a look at the video yourself. That's, of course, if I remember to do so. But you are welcome to go ahead and hear the conversation, what the guy is saying. Whenever the truth comes out, it makes people very, very uncomfortable. And we've been seeing that for the past few years now. The more truth comes out, they're even trying to make laws to make truth unlawful, you know? And I don't know what to say at this point about that. It just proves what the Bible say, that some people, they would rather hear the lies. They have no pleasure in righteousness, but they have pleasure in unrighteousness. So therefore, they prefer the lies. Anyway, let me go ahead and share the video clip. And of course, you know, I will be right back.
Here's why you keep
Hold on.
money in trading. I'm about to give you a quick trading tip that flies in the face of what most traders do. So there's a professor at Rutgers University named Brittany Cooper who makes the rounds every 6 to 9 months with an outrageous clip. And she is absolutely at it again. She's known as Professor Crunk. That's her nickname. She likes to go on long diatribes against white Americans. She has outrageous conspiracy theories about ancient history. And in this clip, she actually starts to verge towards very nasty and eliminationist rhetoric. She is a good example of what happens when you have critical race theory, not as just as ideology, but critical race theory as a university discipline. This is someone who says things that are so outrageous, you'd think it would be the end of her academic career. But according to the dictates of critical race praxis, the practice of critical race theory in academia, she keeps getting promoted and promoted and promoted, where she now has a very comfy sinecure at Rutgers University. And so we'll listen to this first clip and hear what she has to say.
Look, I think that white people are committed to being villains in the aggregate, right? You know, their thinking is so morally and spiritually bankrupt about power that they can't they fear viscerally, existentially letting go of power because they cannot imagine that there's another way to be. It is either that you dominate or you are dominated. And isn't it sad that is spiritually who they are, and that they can't imagine a sort of more expansive notion of it.
And so this is really critical race theory in a nutshell. She distills it down. There are two great metaphysical forces in the world, whiteness and blackness, synonymous with good and evil. And then she diagnoses what she thinks of as whiteness or white culture as a spiritual disease, a malaise of civilization, something that is insidious, that maintains exploitative power relations.
But where did she lie? Where is the lie? I would dare add, too, that white people are the living embodiment of evil. Evil consists of 7 things, the 7 deadly sins: greed, gluttony, sloth, envy, pride, wrath, and lust. They enter everything and anything that is bad, and they don't give a fuck about what's good. It's just their nature. We civilize these people, black people civilize these so-called children of our old white people 3 times. Once in Egypt, killed them and got them out. Once in Greece and Rome, killed them and got them out. And now, after being kicked out of Spain, 3 strikes you out. There's no more. No more. These people are dying. Their birth rate is like 1. You need a birth rate of at least 2.1 to maintain your population. They're dying. And now, since they took the Jews, it's like half of the 1, or 0.06. So no, she's absolutely right about that, and I wrote to her about that. Hopefully, I can get on the show. I can come on her podcast or be a part of a group of people talking about race in America and race in the world and where we are now. And if we don't turn this bitch around, this matrix is just going to really fuck up the whole world. Because, be honest, white people don't know how to do shit right. They'll fuck up a 1-car funeral. And we can see that as of this minute, this second. Everything they've done upon the earth has always been about evil. Nothing constructive, always destructive. Because they all entered the 4 Ds. And that's all they brought to the table of humanity, the 4 Ds. Death, destruction, disease, and despair. Let me continue.
I gave this TED talk about this some years back, and one of the reasons I was trying to think about it is the world didn't start when white people arrived in America and tried to tell all the rest of us how things were going to go. There were people out here making worlds, Africans and indigenous people, being brilliant, and libraries and inventions and vibrant notions of humanity and cross-cultural exchange long before white people showed up being raggedy and violent and terrible and trying to take everything from everybody. But in the end,
raggedy.
It is what I like to say is, black folks were out here for centuries and centuries and millennia doing all kinds of wonderful things, and probably some things too, but whiteness is largely an inconvenient interruption.
Inconvenient interruption. You got that right. Hold on.
This is what 5 pounds of body fat looks like. Want to lose this and
Okay, what's going on? The internet is a little slow, I guess. I don't know.
more?
Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Check out the mom.
Keep watching. Have you seen this guy? The one that says stop doing carb?
Okay, now stop it. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing. I think he would have done better to simply try to disprove what she was saying. You know, um, whenever people say that you're not being fair in your assessment, point to what the person is saying that's not fair. Point to what they're saying that is not true. Instead of saying that she's spewing rhetoric, or now he went on to say, this is why I said there's more to the video, it's a lot longer. He went on to say that she's trying to imagine these false histories of Black people doing this, that, and the third. See, it sounds as if he wasn't comprehending her correctly. She wasn't just talking about Black civilizations here in America. This is why she said millennium. She was referring to the achievements of Black people for millennium throughout history, not just from the time that we landed here in America. So if you go back to ancient Egyptian history, in which this is why they don't want, they try to say Egypt wasn't Black, right? Now, there are various tribes within the Black communities around the world. Those are the tribes of Ham. And so everyone wants to try to claim Egypt as their history with absolutely no proof. But you have Black folk who have thousands and thousands of images on the wall who prove.
The only proof they got is I'm white and I say so. That's it.
That they were Black. And even till to this day, you have people trying to copy some of the technologies of ancient Egypt. But see, those of us in the know, we realize even the ancient Egyptians had some wickedness going on, and that they had some help from the dark side to get some of the information that they have. We know this, right? Because we know and understand this, we are able to articulate this better than them, because they come up with these, they are the ones who come up with these fantastic fabrications of history that don't make sense, especially when you look at the artifacts, especially when you look at the foundation of civilization, which is in Africa. And so with, based on that family, this is why they are now trying to say that the first inhabitants of Africa were white, because they are starting to see, wait a minute, some of the stuff that we're saying doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So here, this is what we'll do. This is what we'll do. We'll start to feed this information out into the atmosphere. Now we'll start to say that this group of Black people right here were actually the beginning of white people. Yeah, that's what we'll do. I literally saw a video where they were trying to say that this particular tribe, these people had short coarse hair, their eyes were kind of slanted. I forget the tribes that they come from. But they were trying to say that those people were actually the beginning of white civilization, because they had a lighter skin tone, but they had coarse, extremely coarse hair. And they were still melanated, and they had slanted eyes. So they began to try to fabricate and string together information that still does not make sense. I remember when the one guy, there was an older white guy trying to explain this to a younger white guy, and the younger white guy said, I've never heard of this before. So you're saying that we were the first Africans and that this is our origins right here? I mean, he was acting as if, wait a minute, I can't buy this, but this is what you're putting out here now? Bantu says the Khoisan people of South Africa. Let me look that up real quick. I believe that is the name, but I want to look it up real quick so that I can show you the images of these people. That, yes, that is, thank you for putting that in there, beloved. I love it when we work together. So I'm going to show you, these are the people, the images that these folk were showing. Let me get this up on the screen for you so you can see how ridiculous this stuff is. Okay? They're trying to say that they were the original inhabitants of.
Take a good look at our people. That white people are saying that this is or was the beginning of white people. Then what happened to all the other Khoisan people that are still there? Please explain. How did that happen? I did just got left out of the process. Man, come on. You should know by now that white folks are bullshitting, full of shit. They talk shit because they know they ain't shit. They ain't shit because they know they talk shit. Plain and simple.
Africa. They're saying white people are the original inhabitants, right? They're saying that these are the first humans, okay? And that these were the white people that dominated Africa before Black people invaded them. This is the information that's being put out there now. Now you can look at the Khoisan people, okay, or the Khoisan people, the Khoisan, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but you can even look at them and they are clearly melanated people. Clearly melanated people. Now, anybody can say that they're the oldest civilization. I feel like even stating that, you have no proof to say that these people are the oldest civilization. No proof whatsoever other than we said so. Okay? So, but looking at these images, is there anybody in the chat that believes these people to be Caucasian, European, white folk? Is there anybody in the chat that believes that?
Escucha, se te está acabando el tiempo y déjame explicarte por qué. Queda poco tiempo para que inicie el nuevo año.
Now, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this.
I am.
I'm not trying to be mean when I'm saying this. I'm just trying to show you all that it's ridiculous how they are trying to just change everything. Everything is being whitewashed, and they don't understand why Professor Crump, whose name is actually Professor Brittany Cooper, they don't even understand why she has a job. They say that she's preaching, or not preaching, but teaching exclusionist history. She has a very objective point of view concerning history. She has facts to prove what she's saying. Now, they are calling for her to be eliminated. They don't believe that she should still be able to be a professor at Rutgers University. Now, he said in the video clip, for those of you who haven't seen it, you can go back to the beginning when the broadcast is over. But he is saying that Professor Brittany says that they have a spiritual disease, right? Brittany was saying things like the world didn't start when they came on the scene. And they can't stand that. They can't stand to even hear something like that. And he believes, now let me just say this. We have had to endure centuries and centuries and centuries of people saying that we were 3/5 human. That's more of an insult, right? He thinks that first saying that they have a spiritual disease is an insult, but he's not showing us anything to prove her wrong, right? Not showing us anything, just saying, oh no, you're this terrible person who needs to lose her position as a professor, shouldn't even be allowed to teach. Because I said so, because I don't like what you're saying, I don't like your criticism. She's talking about the things that they have done throughout history around the world, and it's too much for his ears to hear. Professor Crump, that's a nickname I guess she gave herself or someone else gave her. But the way she spit the words out her mouth, I can imagine anybody would be sitting there like, ouch, ooh, ouch. Okay, she spit those words out. So I'm pretty sure it was not music to the ears. We have to be able to discern the spirits behind the rebuttals to the truth.
Hold on, let me introduce and have him onto the show. Brother Elias, what's up, man? Brother Elias. Your microphone.
My apologies, brother. Peace. How are you today?
Yeah, man, we're good. What's up, Brother Maurice? What's going on? You tell these motherfuckers on X to bring their funky asses on, man. Because just like I just excoriated these bitches on the platform, I'm going to do the same in their motherfucking face, outside their motherfucking face, on your program or mine. I don't give a fuck. Because they are dead ass wrong. And anything and everything is always, I'm white and I say so, and nobody ain't pushing back. This is how weak these motherfuckers are. And this is exactly what I'm going to be saying if they have enough fucking testicular fortitude to come onto the show, man. Yeah, whoop that ass, nigga. I'm going to whoop that ass, but they ain't coming. You already know they ain't coming, man. Yeah, no. They just wanted somebody to go along to get along and say, yeah, you're white. Oh Lord, I just gotta lay down and just pretend to be dead, and then just wait until you just go, Mr. Mighty White Man, just go. Man, fuck these bitches. Look, just like the black woman with that white woman in that clip of them. Just bitch slap the shit out of them because afterward, all they're gonna do is just go home and cry and tear up the house.
Hey, brother Isaiah,
Yeah.
have you ever seen the documentary Out of Africa?
No, I don't even think I heard of it. I ain't gonna be trying to lie.
It was made by. Yeah, it was made by. It's old. It probably got made in the '90s, late '90s.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah,
I probably didn't, man.
Yeah. So you can find it on YouTube, I'm sure. Let me see if I can find a link. But while I do that, that was a documentary by a white dude that posited that the Khoisan emigrated points east and west and so on and so forth, but most of them went to what is now known as China. And that's why Chinese people are chinky-eyed and they lost their color and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a whole bunch of theories.
Wait, hold on. What was that? A older English white guy? I might have seen it.
I believe he was American. He didn't speak like a British dude, but it was a while ago.
Okay,
hold on. Getting the link right now as we speak. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, put that in the chat if you can, and then I'll plug it up here on the in the chat here on the platform. So yeah, just look for it, and then I'm gonna go back to the viewing chat to wrap that one up, and then we can kind of like scroll these ones down, because the other one is like from X. And we're gonna get into. I'm gonna let you do your commentary on what was happening, what we covered, give you a little synopsis of it, and then we're gonna get into crypto and Q and what's going on with the Brunson case and all of that. That state, matter of fact, I think it was Friday. I think it was Friday that they reinstalled Donald Trump as the president, because he never conceded, and that Biden came into office 6 minutes before 12 o'clock, and a lot of other weird shit that was going on, but he was still president all that time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I said that a few weeks ago on this show that we had two administrations running concurrently. One being that Biden, who's not Biden, by the way. For all we know, his name could be Brandon. They say that there's three that before this new guy that was 6 inches taller, which was probably late summer, maybe August, September. Before this guy showed up, that Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, and another actor, older white dude, he's not a famous actor, were all taking turns playing him. Now, we know about CGI and clones, and I've talked about that extensively with you. So we all know that, and there were other instances as well where he was supposedly shown, where he was supposedly speaking in places, and when the phone cameras took the video, there was nobody there, meaning it could have been CGI or holograms or what have you. So
Hold on. Let's hold on. Keep that thought. I'm gonna go right to X. Hold on. No. That's one of the things I want to. Oh yeah, well, I can get rid of this one. Hold on. Let me see. There's going to be an EBS. This was a countdown of 2 days ago. That should be happening tomorrow at some point. That there's going to be an EBS where it'll be complete blackout. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but take it for what it is. As a matter of fact, now we talked about Robin Williams. Now take a look at this guy on X called Pappy, and you tell me if it ain't him or not. Hold on, Pappy. Hold on.
Now, before you get into that, let me just say this real quick. Robin Williams is supposed to be dead.
Uncle Pappy. Now look at this guy. In this picture, man, come on,
Looks
man.
like
Yeah. And you see him here, he sound like him. He got all of the hairy ass body and the marks on his face.
Brother, I don't know how them scaly critters don't bother me at all. But I'll tell you this, and I know it don't make no sense, but my number one fear in the world is sharks, man. Sharks scare the absolute crap out of me, man. And up here in the ocean, my heart is pounding. I'm scared out of my mind. But I'll tell you this. The odds of me getting attacked by a shark are about 1 in 4 million. The odds of me regretting not getting in the ocean, well, that's 1 in 1. But I know for a fact I'll be kicking myself all next week if I don't relax in the water at least once, man. Life is about taking risks, facing your fears, being scared, man. I ain't saying go do nothing dangerous, but ask that cutie out behind the coffee counter you're in love with, man. Move to the new city that you've been dreaming of. Take a risk. The odds of you regretting going for it are 1 in however many numbers. The odds of you regretting not going for it, that's 1 in 1, but it's going to be 1 in 1 every time. You got to go out and live your damn life, man.
Motherfucker, y'all live your life. Look, I don't know, but if I was a betting man, I'd put all my money on that's Robin Williams. All right. So Mr. Uncle Pappy is called. Hold on, let me see if there's got some other shit. Hold on. Let me see. Uncle Pappy. Let me pull that up. Before I cut out. Uncle. Hold on. Uncle Pappy. Yeah, Uncle. Here we go. I thought I followed the guy. Okay, so man, he got all the marks, all the everything. Robin Williams. He act like him. He look like him. There ain't no surgery that was done on him. Hold on. Let me play this.
When people think about Florida, they think of overcrowded beaches, tourist traps, all those cliches. Let me show you all my Florida, okay? This is what I'm talking about when I talk about Florida. A beautiful little stream, a white egret wading in the waters, fishing. I mean, this is the Garden of Eden as far as I'm concerned, brother. And this is 15 minutes from the beach in St. Pete. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Don't get disillusioned by the beauty of these places just by the stereotypes that they have, man. I mean, we got to protect this at all costs, man. This is what it's all about. When people think...
Now, take that as you will, but I'm willing to bet that's Robin Williams. That motherfucker ain't dead, not now, not in a minute. Hold on. Now, why did I put this here? This is my memory. Okay. But anyway, yeah, go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
I don't think I had anything else to say. I think I pretty much said what I had to say. I'm gonna look up who that other actor is so you guys can see it. Who the other actor's name is, the one that supposedly from the Bronx that also plays. So you go ahead and while I get that info.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna continue on with Professor Crunk, just see what the what do you call her? This is Deborah Ya, because this is her platform. So we'll continue.
The spirits behind the rebuttals many times are really an acknowledgement that what you are saying is true and I don't like it. Thank you, Stella. They eat the truth. We have Dirta and Eta. Thank you for that, Stella. You have folk who can't stand it. His will says cringy. It causes an uneasiness in the spirit and in the flesh when they hear the truth. Again, and I've mentioned this many times before, but there's a documentary, Megiddo, The New Age. I believe it's a part 1 and 2, possibly, or one is Megiddo 1, Megiddo 2, or whatever. But in one of the episodes, there was a part where this guy was saying that demonic spirits, they cringe when they hear of their judgment. In the spirit realm, they don't like to hear how the Most High is going to judge them. And it makes them physically sick. And so it kind of reminds me of what we see happening whenever the truth is spoken about what has happened in history. This guy literally tried to say that this woman is making up her own versions of history. And again, when she was talking about the things that Black people have done throughout history for millennium, she wasn't just talking about when we got here. He thinks that I can tell that he was assuming that when she was talking about Black accomplishments in the world, it sounds as if he was assuming she was talking about when we got here to America. Again, something that flew right over his head. No, it wasn't. He was talking about for the past few millennia. You have folk literally trying to steal every Black identity that matters in the world. Every Black identity. At first, they were keeping their hands off the pygmy people. Now they want that too. They wanted to say that the ancient Egyptians were not Black people, that the ancient
92% of people who have tingling or numbness in hands or feet are missing the warning signs of decaying nerves. An urgent message.
Ancient Israelites were not Black people. They want to say that the people of Europe were not Black people, the ancient Europeans. They want to say that the ancient Asians were not Black people. They want to say that all the people around the world were not Black, but we were some type of animal creature that showed up after them. But even their own scientists, it's usually the religious kind that go off into the deep end like that. But scientists, they come forward because they don't have a religious bell to ring. They simply say, well, it's very clear and obvious. The first humans were Black. Who can even argue? You know? Scientists bring it from that point of view because they know that's the only thing that makes sense. Huh? Carrie says they only hope for us to fall back to sleep. And that's what I believe as well. This is why they continue to redo these films where they're casting historically Black people or biblical characters as white or some type of whited out Arab nation. Anything but Black. Even though these people.
Now, sorry, but you need to check out her series on YouTube called Whited Out. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. It's really, really, really good. Whited Out.
Historically were Black. They feel like they have to whitewash them in the movies, in television, in printed material, in education, in the Bible. We got to whitewash it because we can't have these people thinking that they were here first. Even though scientists have already showed the world. They've already showed the world. But the world in general does not want to hear the truth. And when we speak the truth, it has absolutely nothing to do with pride. Us speaking the truth about history is simply us saying enough is enough. We are tired of the lies. We are tired of the manipulation.
You said that, Marie. When is enough enough? Right now. Enough is enough. Just beat the fuck out of them. Slap the shit out of them. All they're going to do is cry, go home, and start tearing up their own shit.
I'm tired of the creation of alternative histories that never happened. Sister Stella says in the chat that their lies cannot magically become true. And I feel like sometimes they believe they can. There was a statement, a quote out there, and I'll try to find it hopefully one of these days if I think about it. But and I think I recently said it in one of my broadcasts where they said if you repeat a lie often enough, you know, you can convince others or yourself. Let me see if I can find it. If you repeat a lie, okay. If you repeat a lie often, so there's a quote, and this was a quote. Yes, I remember now. It says the quote is, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually become or come to believe it. It is often attributed to Joseph Goebbels, but there is no primary source to support it. Randall Weitberg's research suggests that it's unlikely that Goebbels said this. So I don't care who said it, but it is a quote, right? And so I just read that to you. They say if you repeat or if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. So this is what we have witnessed throughout history. Continue to repeat the lie over and 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 over again. Keep on repeating it throughout history. Put it in the history books if you can. Put it in quotations on the internet. Make it go viral through the memes. Just keep on saying it and people will believe it. This is how the history is taught in this world. Like Oscar Wilde says, the only duty we owe to history is to rewrite it. That is one of the most wicked, nefarious statements I've ever heard. Because you can't rewrite what has already happened. You can lie about it, but you cannot rewrite it. But that is what has happened. The rewriting of history to swamp the minds of humanity. That is what is going on. And now that you have people like Professor Crump, this is a quote from her. She says, white people are committed to being villains? Is that true? Is that true? And I think the fella who said this, instead of attacking her and calling for her to be put out of her position, no longer being a professor, why not just prove her wrong? Show us and point to us all of the proof of the peace that you all have established all over the planet. Show us all of the proof that you're not villains. Show us all the proof that throughout history, every place you've gone to, you've established.
Hold on.
That you're very tolerant of everybody. Show us all the proof that you've done nothing in history but give, and love, love, love. Show us all the proof. I would love to see it. Can you please show it to me? All of the proof of the goodness, the kindness, the mercy, the grace, the love, the honesty. Can we just do that? And that will shut down everything this professor said. If you can just do that, it will shut down everything she said. And we can go back to sleep. And I'm not talking about no little snippet of time where I don't want nothing about going over to Africa giving nobody nothing. Okay? Because it has been stated too that many times folk will go over to Africa and give them aid from stuff that they already extracted from Africa. So you take the stuff from Africa, you take it back to your country, you process it, then you send some of it back as aid. And if they don't do what you say do concerning policies that you want implemented in their countries, then you say, oh, we're going to withdraw the aid, but you forgot you got the aid from there in the first place, and you just giving back something that you took to begin with.
Troy
Boy,
already
I
said
tell you, I feel like more and more proof and evidence of what has happened in this world is just out here, and people can't stand it. They can't stand to hear the truth. All we say at this point is just prove us wrong. Prove us wrong.
Hold on.
Descubre el email de GoDaddy con Microsoft 365. Da una imagen más profunda.
I have no problems with anyone
I got a
proving
problem.
us wrong. Show us all of the evidence. How many of y'all would accept it if we can get all the proof and the evidence that people have been misrepresented, that they have been peaceful and loving and kind and generous to all men, all around the planet, throughout millennia? Most of us, if you can prove it, we wouldn't have a problem with it. But the evidence of our own eyes speaks loud and clear. And see, that's the problem. Instead of disproving, they simply attack your name, go after your job, say that you're this, say that you're that. That's right, Simo says, prove us wrong. Prove it. Prove her wrong. Anyone who doesn't like Professor Crump, also known as Professor Brittany Cooper, with the things that she says, please provide us with the truth. We would greatly appreciate it. Anyway, I love you, family. Thank you all for tuning in. For those of you just joining, you can go back to the beginning and take a look at the clip where folk, yep, folk are upset at what this professor has said. And
I want to stop it there because she's not really saying anything. You heard her say that she's gonna cut the video short. But yeah, these people have really lost their way. And I'm not going to get too into it, but it has to deal with Blumenbach and Meisner's lies and their parents, because the lie of being white had to be instilled in them. It had to be preached from the school step, political step, house step, their own home step, the church step, all of that. And the definition of white didn't happen until the 1680s, 90s, but they weren't white at that point. They became enveloped, overwhelmed, or fully wet or soaked with the idea of being white until about 1880. But you can see that in my book too, The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, our ancestors were still trying to get control back. They didn't just stop at 1492. We fought until the last time that we could fight to get our black privilege and our black Ketubuka and our black dominance back, black superiority back. Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it back. Don't worry. And we are going to wreak havoc on their ass completely. They're getting it now, but they ain't really getting it on the up and up and fully and completely, because we're going to make footstools out of these motherfuckers. All of Europe is now flooded with brown-skinned people. Canada, the prime minister had converted to Islam. And in America, it is just overwhelming America and the world. Don't worry, don't trip.
You said Canada? Are you talking about Trudeau?
Oh, hey. No. I'm talking about Islam. Hold on, player. I'm gonna shut it down for a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so we got to be aware of what's going on in the world. Just don't let them blow smoke up your ass, my people. Don't let them do that. Because if you're walking around here thinking you know your history and you don't, and then you try to get into a conversation with these motherfuckers, they'll throw a left, no, they'll throw a curveball at you, hoping you fall for it. When it's a ball all day long, ball. Don't do it. Don't do it. So hold on. I wanna go through all of these. Professor Razor, breaking news. President Trump can be okay. So I know where I'm gonna be going with this. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Now I know where I'm going to be going with this. Okay, so we're getting it down to the last few, Elias. So you want to expand on that at all?
What am I expanding on? There was so much said. So
No. About white folks not being white, that they're stolen our history, that they're lying through their teeth. They lying every which way they can and any which way they will, and that it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So go on ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
What I believe is they know it's their last days, and so in order to convince some of us to go with them, they're just throwing confusion into the game so that some of us believe that we're really the same. Like they always said back in the day, oh, we're all the same. We all bleed red, and all of the things we all know. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, and all of the comments and phrases and sayings that we've been hearing pretty much all our lifetime. Now, with so much interracial mingling on a sexual level, where we have a lot of mulatto kids out here now, and so on and so forth, how can you tell? I believe that that's a last-ditch effort. For there are plenty of porn films and other type of information stating that a lot of white women like black men, not only for our big penises, but because they want their children to be here when they leave. You can meet a lot of white people who don't have any family members anymore, or at least ones that they know of, because they're disappearing, and they know it. And that's something very little talked about. And we can tell how they do this because every country that's not melanin dominant is having, like Brother Maurice said in the chat, those demons are only 7% of the world's population, if that. That doesn't, what about the half-breeds that pass as white, as strictly white? They know that their time is up. And even with a lot of these countries paying women to stay home and subsidizing their income and so on and so forth to the tune of a livable wage, they still not going to be able to make it. 30 years ago, this time bomb was going off. And Pat Buchanan wrote a book reflecting that. Death of the White Race. I read it, so I'm not talking about it like, something that I heard of or rumored. I read the book. He said that himself. Okay. So, yeah. I'm done, bro.
Right.
You can go.
Hold on. I'm bringing your thing up so I can put it into the chat. Hold on.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I did not see this video, so hold on. Comment. All right, that's one. Hold on. Right, okay, yeah. So you put Arthur Robert, the 83-year-old C-list actor who portrayed Joseph Biden, yeah, on television and in person, blew his cover during a televised press conference with the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson earlier this week. Now, you got a YouTube of that?
No, but that was all over the place when it happened.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. It was probably right when he got in office.
And Brother Maurice, I don't think that's 7%. It's more like 2.5 to 3% of the world population. But these motherfuckers are dying. It might be a whole hell of a lot less. It might be less than 1%. But they're not that many. And even Benjamin Franklin said all of Palatine, Germany, or whatever the case may be, the German, the Spanish, the Italian, the Irish, the Danes, all these were black skin or brown skin and complected people. So they weren't but a few out of the 10 fingers, it might be one white person. That's how unpopulous they are. And even at 10%, they're not even close to that. So it's like maybe like I was saying, 3%. But
right.
Yeah. So
and the majority of them are older, non-reproductive ages. The majority.
Right. And a lot of these white women don't even want to have babies with white guys.
Yep. And that's a big reason why. And that's another big reason why they're dying out, because I once saw a lecture some years ago. I don't remember who the person was, but we project a lot as black people. So we project that that they think like we do, and so on and so forth. A lot of times, especially in the summer, especially in the South or in the tropics, man, them people are suffering. They don't feel good, man.
Right.
And the summers seem to be getting hotter and hotter.
Right.
And then a lot of the heat that's emanating on the earth right now is coming from the ground, not from the sun.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it snowed in California.
Oh, okay. Where?
I'm going to assume all over California, I guess. I don't know, but it normally snows in the northern part of California. That's not unusual. But where it snowed recently, that don't happen.
Okay.
And I mean, I ain't talking about a light covering of snow. Yeah, it was some deep shit. So and then we got the water returning back to the Sahara Desert, and that
did you see that flood in Spain 2 weeks ago?
They got snow, huh?
Did you see the flood that big? I think Spain got a year's worth of rain in 8 hours 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
right.
And then there was a flood after that.
There was a flood in France too,
and Brazil as well.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go back to this, and then we'll kind of wrap it right on down. Now you got to hear these guys. I mean, these dudes. I was like stunned. You're talking about coming back home, but let's hear them. Let's hear them.
Okay, brother.
Heartache, I had my share of heartache, but I'm still here. Trouble, I've seen my share of trouble, but I'm still here. Bruises, I'm taking my love.
Oh, well, now
¿Sabías
shit.
que este video fue hecho con
That
inteligencia
sound, it
artificial?
look
Que
like
a
somebody I
videos
know.
extraños como este ahora es muy fácil con Libens.
And bruises, but I'm still here. Yes, I am. Loneliness, I had my share of loneliness, but I'm still here. Through it all, I made it through. And the day's journey, God kept me here. Can anybody relate tonight? I made it through. Yeah. Another day's journey. God kept me here. Oh, yeah. Lied on. Many times I've been lied on, but I'm still here. Thank you, Lord. Oh, burdens, had to bear so many burdens, but I'm still here. Ooh, dark days, and my shadow of dark days, but I'm still here. Ooh, disappointments, and so many disappointments, but I'm still here. Ooh, made it through the nation. Oh, I don't know how you feel about it. I try, but I'm still here. I made it, I made it, I made it, I made it, made it. Ooh, God kept me. Yeah. Everybody was y'all. It's by the grace of God that I'm still here today. Yeah. He was always there. Yeah. No matter what came my way, of every present help in my time of need, standing right there, just to be by me. Yeah. What more day? God kept me found around me, and as I live at war, I made it, I made it, I made it, I made it, made it. Oh, yeah. I made it, yes, I made it. I'm still here. A lot of folks say that die, but I'm made by the grace of God. I'm still here. Yes, I am. I had to lay awake in the midnight hour. All night long. Everybody had to lay awake all night long sometimes. Tears in your eyes, wondering what the next day was gonna bring. God ain't bother around you yesterday. You made it through the fire. You still here tonight. Come on, let me see those hands in the air. I made it, I made it. I made it, I made it. I made it, I made it. Still here. Through it all, I'm still here.
Well, yeah, damn. I like, if I had to close my eyes and somebody played that shit, I would have sworn they were black. But that goes to show black ain't going no motherfucking way. We're still here. By the grace of God and our ancestors and the blessing that is upon us, we are still here. But I can tell you, white folks ain't gonna be. The white folk can't do that, man. I seen a gospel Japanese choir that blew me the fuck away. I'm like, God, you can't escape blackness. The only thing that you can do is just be a part of it. The speed of light is 186,000. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. The speed of dark is infinite. We ain't going no motherfucker way. You got a comment about that?
Yeah. Listen, everybody has to imitate us, and that they say that you don't hear the saying anymore, but you used to hear this saying a lot back in the days. Imitation is the best form of flattery. So you can go anywhere in the world today, right now, I don't care what country it is, you never even heard of the country. They got a rap scene there. Where rap originated, or hip hop, if you want to call it something else. We know. Jazz, we know. Almost all I can't say all with certainty, but almost all of the music in the world today derives from the blues. That was blues right there. I don't care what you want to call it.
Right.
Because if you're calling it R&B, that means rhythm and blues. So that is still blues. We don't hear that because we so used to calling it R&B, we forgot that the foundation of it is blues.
Yeah,
that was the blues,
right? Yeah,
pretty
rhythm
much.
and blues, R&B. Yeah, you got that right.
So the foundation of the world writ large is us, brother, and it ain't gonna change.
Right. You always got to come back home, bro.
Almost even rock music today that you hear, it can have a guitar banging through it right now. It's going to have a drum track that if you remove that guitar, it's a hip hop track.
Right.
And it's probably a drum program hip hop track, not a drummer actually playing it.
Right. You got that right. We created every genre of music, from classic to blues to rock and roll to that bang bang bullshit that you can't even tap your feet to that shit. But we created that shit. Country, yeah. But you leave it to white folks. No. That's motherfucker. Just sit back, relax, strap on the seatbelt, because you ain't never been on a ride like this motherfucker.
So them trying to reclaim everything or claim it, or however you want to look at it, is just a desperate ploy because they know they out of here, brother. We're gonna keep coming back to that foundation. That's the foundation of this very conversation. They're out of here.
I'm gonna try something, and it described white folk. You ain't nothing but a lower level laugh. Look, no, wait, hold on. You ain't nothing but a lower level laugh. Lip lover, loose lip lover, laugh, loose. It's all shit. I say this shit all the time. Hold on. Let me. You ain't nothing but a lower level lackluster laugh, loose lip lover, lousy, lame, lick lethargic, luckily liver lip laborious lives on something like on the losers list, living in limbo, living for laugh, low life with a loud rap boy. That was Kool Moe Dee going in on LL Cool J, coming off his name.
You're gonna need a spit cup if you want to say that again, bro. Next to you. You're gonna need a spit cup next time you say that.
Well, I was trying to be smooth with it, but I ain't no rapper. I can rap in Spanish. My English ain't that hot when it comes to rapping. I can rap the shit out of Spanish, man.
Yeah, let me find out you hanging out with Daddy Yankee and Pitbull and them.
Oh no, I ain't selling out. They can have all that shit. But Brother Maurice is saying they were lip syncing. They could have been. Mm-hmm. But if they lip syncing or not,
I don't think they were lip syncing. They were good. They were very good. I don't think so.
But like I was saying, I saw a Japanese group sing and choir, man. They sounded. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I've been to Japan. I spent a lot of time in Japan in my earlier years, brother. And let me tell you something.
Okay.
One time I went to a club in Japan, and that was remember when the song Walk It Out was out? Now walk it out. Now walk it out.
Yeah.
Walk It Out. Remember that song? Okay.
Right.
And there was a dance to that song. It was they called it the Walk It Out. And Japanese girls would watch the black girls doing it, and within 2 to 3 minutes, they doing that shit just like them, bro. I was like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, and one of the girls that was dancing, I knew her. So I went up to her, I said, I said, you just learned that dance? She said, yeah, I just watched and I copied it. They're the greatest imitators in the world, brother. That's why I'm going to do a little history right now. Give me about a minute and a half or maybe a minute. Okay. I said this to you on this show previously. When we hear the word Sony, we think of the electronics company, the innovators. Remember Sony Innovators and all that inventions they was coming out with the Walkmans and all that in the late 80s or 80s and into the 90s. Okay, now it really stands for Standard Oil of New York, because after World War II, the United States low-key colonized Japan and gave them all the technologies so that they could rebuild their economy.
Right.
And this is why they're imitators. They're not inventive, because before that, they were very imperialistic. They were fighting. They had long wars with China and Russia. A lot of people don't know that. They were very imperial. And then they took a pacifist stance after they got their ass nuked twice by us. Well, not me and you, but you know what I mean, by the U.S.
Right.
And so they became pacifists, and then they became industrialists. So this is a little history that most people that don't know. So when you see that, believe it. They imitate very well.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, let me give a shout out to the people who are in the chat. Willie Rivers, thank you, Brother Maurice, Sister Kathy, if you're out there, everybody else that's watching, thank you for coming in and watch the show. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna continue on, and I think this is sliding into Q and XRP. So lately I've been getting into, I want to thank Sister Cassie for letting me know about XLM too. But that went from 14 cents to 50 cents a coin. So if it wasn't for her telling me about it, I would not have been able to take a part of that, and it's really going to start doing some shit now, since Trump is coming back into office. And over the next 12 months, man, this thing gonna explode. So the only thing that's keeping it at bay is the fact that America has not signed on to it yet. But I think all the chess pieces that are necessary to finally open the door for America to be the preeminent Bitcoin holder and XRP holder and XLM holder is imminent. And once that is signed, sealed, and delivered, man, you're going to see Bitcoin go way over $500,000 per coin. And I'm just guessing XRP about $1 million per coin.
Hey,
so,
didn't you
but
say,
sorry. No, go ahead.
Didn't you say a little while ago that he's already officially back?
Yeah, but we're going to get into that too. That's one of the things that I'm going to bring up, the Brunson cage, and then what you guys are saying. Yeah. So hold on, let me see.
Let me just say one more thing, brother. Then I'm gonna let you go, because this is part of the conversation. Did you hear about that? Every Guyanese person is supposed to get $100,000.
Every guy, what now?
Every Guyanese, people from Guyana, South America.
Oh, Guyana. Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link. So go ahead, go for it. I just wanted you to include that in the equation before we went to the next.
Okay. So here we got breaking news. This is from Reza, Professor Reza. He said, breaking news. It could happen tomorrow. This was, what day was this? Oh, it doesn't say. November the 21st. Today the 23rd, 2024. So that'll be, it should be today, really. But there was a countdown clock. Let me see. Yeah, it's not showing. But there was a countdown clock that gave it the ultimate up to the second time that the EBS is supposed to take place. But it said President Trump can be installed immediately tomorrow, Friday the that's Friday the 22nd. Oh, okay. Now I don't know if that happened. Friday, November the 22nd. That was yesterday, 2024. That is the same day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Supreme Court can give their decision about Brunson brothers' case against 2020 election. That objection by senators were ignored against the U.S. Constitution. If Brunson won the case, and he did, President Trump can be installed immediately. Friday the 22nd, 2024, on Tuesday, 19th November, President Trump announced he would be coming home in 3 days. Now, 2021, 22, so that would have been about it, which added up to 25, or the Friday the 22nd, the anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination on Friday the 22nd November at 10 a.m. date of Supreme Court announcement, one of which was expected to be there already, decided positive opinion on the Brunson case, 2020 election fraud case, which would bring down the Biden administration and all of Congress and allow Trump to come back as our duly elected president. Now you got to remember too. Let me get out of here. You got to remember too that what was I going to say? That oh shit, I don't forget what the hell I was going to say. But anyways,
I got real quick.
Yeah, the Brunson case is one and done. So it's just a matter of time that all of this will come out. And that obviously the man won in 2020. And that's what I wanted to say. That all of the cases against Trump have all been canceled. All that bullshit that they're trying to get him on, they threw that shit out the window. That shit ain't going no damn well. So the black guy out there in New York, the black woman out there in New York, the attorney general and all, their asses are done.
You're talking about Alvin Bragg and Letitia James.
Yeah. And the one in Georgia, they asses are cooked and done. You know what I mean? So but this one, man, you gotta laugh your ass off about it. But look at this. Let's bring this one up.
Just so I can understand it, because I don't get it. An artist named Maurizio Catalan went to a fruit stand on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and bought a Dole banana for 35 cents. That's wild. Duct taped it to the wall of the Sotheby's auction house, and then they started the bidding on this work of art. A half dozen people or more bid, and the final price was $6.2 million.
How do they explain that, Tony?
So the guy who bought it is a crypto rich guy named Justin Sun, runs a company called Tron. Okay. In a statement, he says that the artwork, quote, represents a cultural phenomena that bridges the worlds of art, memes, and cryptocurrency.
If I didn't know better, I would think that you're punking us.
I'm not punking you. I'm not punking you. And this is a kind of a growing phenomena. The art was initially displayed in Miami at Art Basel a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And when the banana rots, what happens?
So there's instructions for replacing it. By the way, the destiny of this particular banana from the Upper East Side fruit stand for 35 cents, the buyer, Justin Sun, says, in the coming days, quote, I will personally eat the banana as part of this unique artistic experience, honoring its place in art history and popular culture. Some people have too much money. What the heck is going on at the Sotheby's auction?
Now, I brought that up. hold on. I brought that up because there's a sucker born every motherfucking minute, every second. But go ahead, go ahead.
I'm convinced that's a way to launder money, brother. There's no way in the
No,
world
you
you're
might
gonna
be right.
convince me.
That's a very good point, sir.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a very good point.
convinced. There's no way in the world you're gonna convince me somebody's gonna buy a banana that costs 35 cents to be duct tape on a piece of paper for $6 million. That is stupidity, bar none.
Yeah, it happened. What there was another, not a banana, but somebody else bought something. It was like a statue or something, but it wasn't made out of anything. And they bought it for millions of dollars. I just don't remember what. It's going to probably come to me, but I just don't remember what it is or what it was. But yeah, man, there's always a sucker born every second or every minute, however it goes. Go ahead, go ahead.
You remember that after Hunter Biden's laptop was exposed with all that, pedophile stuff on it, do you remember that he supposedly became a painter?
He became what now? Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, painter. The same thing.
Right.
Even Trump mentioned it at one point, like when that was, going on at that time, 3-4 years ago. So, this is how they put it in your face, so it doesn't look like they're doing illegalities, because that is the legal way to wash money.
Right. I'll let you answer Brother Maurice's question. How can he come back if he was already still president? So go ahead. I'll let you handle that.
Okay. Like you said earlier in the show, there's two administrations running concurrently. One is the New Republic, headed by Donald Trump and the White Hats. The other was Joe Biden and Kamala and that administration, which was the head of the United States Corporation of America that is defunct and bankrupt. And this is why the real Brandon didn't show up, because he's no longer, and it's just CGI clones and lookalikes that's playing the guy that I told y'all, 3 people that are mainly playing him. One was Robin Williams, and that's why you were showing that. The other was Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective movies and Living Color and all that. And then Arthur Roberts, which you showed his picture. Could you show that picture again so they can see the resemblance with him and the guy that's supposedly playing Biden now? It's in the chat.
Who you talking about?
Arthur Roberts. The second link. It's in the chat.
Okay. Hold on.
You didn't show it long enough, so people can see who we're talking about.
Okay.
Right.
The one at the bottom, right?
No, the middle one. There's 3 links. The middle one, the IMDb.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a picture. It's gonna come. There you go. Now, doesn't that look enough like the one we've been seeing for the past 3-4 years?
Right.
I mean, picture him with makeup and having his face stretched a little here, and
Right.
I mean, I hope they can see it. I don't know. Now, I don't know. I've never seen the man with my own eyes to say it's him, but I'm just saying this has been, and there are plenty of links up there if you want. And you already read the description. I'm going to read it again real quick. It's real short. Okay. Arthur Roberts, the 83-year-old C-list actor who portrays Joe Biden on television and in person, blew his cover during a televised press conference with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson earlier this week. And if you weren't aware of that, I'm going to tell you what he said. They were in a parliament or some kind of government powwow right after the supposed Biden got inaugurated. And when the session was over, he went to Boris Johnson and started telling him, hey, I'm not really Joe Biden. I'm really this actor guy from the Bronx and blah, blah, blah. and Boris Johnson got the hell away from him. You cannot blow your cover in those situations. If you want to relate so that you know what we're talking about, you can refer to the movie Wag the Dog. And it was about Clinton during his sex scandal with Monica Lewinsky and all that. So he created a war so people could forget about the sex scandal and concentrate more on the war. It was all fake. Right. That movie's all over the place. It was an old movie. I don't believe that company's protecting it anymore. So you can find it on one of the streaming platforms easily.
All right.
You know?
Wow.
You can go.
Okay, hold on. So let's try to run through these. Now, this was a major alert after lengthy and heated discussion between the judges and all Trump court cases now and forever have been officially canceled. So they did all of that shit for nothing. And here it is. The state of New York versus Donald J. Trump is null and void. Without going into detail.
And this is proof positive for brother Muhammad. This is another proof positive that this is all. Q used to always, or not always, but Q ended a lot of his transmissions with "enjoy the show." This is a show. If you're looking at it as anything else, you're wrong. It's a show. There's not going to be no nukes going off nowhere.
Right. It is a show. We're watching a show. Because it's too many inconsistencies. You know what I mean? Too many inconsistencies for it not to be a show. 1 minute, J.D. Vance is 5'4", which is really his height. Next minute, he damn near 6 feet tall. He's taller than Biden. So there are a lot of inconsistencies. Yeah, yeah, I mean, like, if you got any common sense, you're gonna see it. So let's continue. Hold on. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's laughable, man. It's laughable. Hold on. So now we're getting into XRP. We're wrapping it up right now. So now we're getting into XRP. Like I was saying, this is, without going into too much detail, this is perhaps the greatest setup Ponzi scheme in the world. You thought, what's the name of that white guy who did the Ponzi scheme and
Bernie Madoff?
180 billion? Yeah,
Bernie Madoff.
Or yeah,
Volsky,
Bernard Madoff. Right. This is gonna make Madoff look like a motherfucking kid in a candy store trying to run out with a pocket full of candy. BlackRock, with all of their founders, Larry Fink and Elon Musk. I just found out that Elon Musk got 16 million XRPs, man. He's gonna be well into the trillions of dollars once it reaches that point. And what I'm talking about, at $100,000 per coin, that pushes him into $6 trillion territory or something like that. My little bit of coins, I thought I was doing something. Like, yeah, damn. But anyway, people like this guy on Crypto Geek, he is predicting very soon an $81 or $82 price for XRP. Hold on. I don't want to. Do I really want to say that? Well, let's play it. Hold on.
So Elon Musk officially announced that he's going to be launching X Everything Payments, which is literally actually set to use XRP, but this is when we made a major discovery. Elon Musk himself holds over 16.783 million XRP in an XRP Ledger wallet under the title of Musk. Now, this wallet was active on the 25th of November 2013, and it only begun to increase after it was discovered to own that 16.7 million XRP. Nonetheless, we also did a lot of research. Throughout the research, we uncovered $41 billion that were set to purchase Twitter from Elon Musk's fund. But not only that, Elon Musk had allocated an absolute $25 billion to buy Ripple Labs, including the XRP that they had in its escrow. This is extremely bullish, as it is the first time that we uncover on the Crypto Geek channel Elon Musk making a $25 billion offer to Ripple Labs to buy their entire company and all of the 50 billion XRP held in their escrow. But what does this all mean for the price of XRP? Well, in the next couple hours, we're about to see $2 per XRP. In 3 days, $21.48 per XRP. And, well, this will lead us to over a 19,502% bump to $81.99 per XRP, all within the next 30 days.
Now, this has happened today. So, in the next 2 days, 3 days, that'll be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. They're talking about a $22 a share price and a 19,000% surge leading to $81. Look, man, XRP, if you ain't on it and if you're not with or part of the new financial system, you're going to be left behind. That's all I got to say. You think 1929 was bad? You're talking about 1,000 times worse. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You had me. I want to go back a little bit because when I came in, you were talking about EBS, and I wasn't able to chime in because you hadn't brought me in yet. Where does in your expertise or knowledge or knowingness, where is the conversion? Do you believe that the conversion is going to happen after the EBS? Because along with putting cryptocurrencies online for everyone, what about NESARA and GESARA?
Yeah, well, right. So Trump went to Iceland on 3 days ago. So I think it's over with now. It went from the 20th to the 23rd. About $600+ trillion and what they're going to do with it, how they're going to do with it, whatever the case may be. But as you may remember, Trump went around the world collecting a lot of gold and bringing all of that back to the United States. So based on the history of America and how America became enslaved under the so-called United States of America, the corporation, and now it went bankrupt in 2017, 16, somewhere around there, with the executive order. I don't remember the number, but all of that plays a part in that in regard to liberating America from the income tax, which is illegal anyway, and the Federal Reserve, which is now part of the Treasury, and all of that. And so with this so-called
did make it a part of the Treasury. You heard me?
Yeah.
Trump did make it a part of the Treasury. Yeah.
Right.
So Fink not trying to leave. I know you saw that last week, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's gone already.
Right. He's gone?
Yeah, I mean, his time is over. I think he resigned about 2 weeks ago or something like that, after the XRP won its case. And then
wow.
I think he is gone, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting the two misconstrued. One with XRP, Gensler. Who were you talking about?
Larry Fink, the head of the Fed. Remember
the
Fed?
Larry Fink.
Yeah, the Fed is
right. I think he bought the Fed now. we might be in trouble. I don't know.
The Feds, right?
We're gonna have to play this by the ear. But yeah, white folks are just cheating again, man. Because if you remember, in 1998, the stock market crashed. That was because of Fink, and then he created the game of all games, the derivative that led to the banking crisis or the housing banking crisis of 2008. And derivatives is nothing but a casino game. That's all it is. It's just debt on top of debt. And with all that debt, they just, yeah.
I must apologize to you. I was talking about Powell. I apologize. The head of the Fed.
No, go ahead.
Trump tried to fire him or fired him, and he said he's not going anywhere. Remember, the Federal Reserve is a private bank.
He resigned. Right. He resigned. He resigned. Yeah, he gone.
He resigned?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna
Yeah, he
look that
talking,
up.
he talking about, yeah, he talking all that shit. I ain't going nowhere. You can't make me go, bitch, you out of here already. Yeah, this is a whole nother regime, man. But what I want to see is make sure that Trump, which I kind of doubt, that Trump going to live up to everything that Q is all about. So, but we'll see. If not, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to make me some money. That's all about it. With XRP. I give no fuck, man. I like being financially aware and keeping my eye on the sky and my ear to the ground, however you want to say it. Because this shit about to get funky, man. Larry Fink and the guys, man, they about to make trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars. Whew, boy. But I'm going to be right there making my thousands. It might not be as big as him, but it'll be enough for us. It's only four of us now, so who knows?
I just sent you an article in the chat. Just read the first one or two lines.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So the last one or the one above that say Crypto Geek.
No, the one that says theguardiancom.com.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Okay, Jerome. What the hell is this? No, thank you. Okay, so Jerome Powell said Donald Trump can't fire. Yeah, he got fired. All right, he out of it after Fed and BOE cut rates as it happened. Presidents are not permitted under the law to fire Federal Reserve Chair or demote governor. Well, he out of there. And that's him. Powell said he would not resign if Trump asked for his resignation. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell had declared that he would not quit his job running America's central bank, even if Donald Trump demanded it. Well, he ain't there now, so we'll see how that bonehead ass statement goes. Which he went with the baby in the bathwater. So yeah, man, yeah. So hold on, let me see. Yeah, I got rid of that, Brother Maurice. He said drop the link on that one. I got rid of that one, but I'll try to find it, and we'll try to get that to you. So yeah, I really don't want to play this. You get the idea. It's that a lot of people are just really honing in on XRP, and I did put that link into the chat. So if people want to see it on X, they can do that. Okay, and now this is not going to take that long, so we'll watch this one.
Hey everybody, Will Fix here. I had a thought the other day and I included it in a video that was posted yesterday. And it's a XRP 25,000 overnight, that video, and it's updated. Here's the point of the update. It dawned on me that institutions and banks do not shop for XRP at the best price. Regulations don't have it where they can't hold that much XRP, but they're going to purchase XRP and use it to do cross-border transactions. So they're going to be a purchaser, then they're going to give that purchased XRP to another company, send it to their wallet, then that company is going to sell that XRP for whatever currency that particular bank desires. So this is the indiscriminate buyer, is what I call it. This is the buyer of XRP that doesn't care about price. What they care about is moving the money that they're moving, the value that they're moving from point A to point B. That's their concern. So they do not have a concern if an XRP is worth $10,000 each, or if they're worth $1,000 each, or if they're worth $1 each. But what I do know is they need to purchase the amount that is able to move the value that they're wanting to move. And when these banks and institutions get started to moving money, and you divide what they move they're yearly into 365 days and given an average of what they move per day, you still end up with a ginormous amount of money that's being moved by XRP, and $1 ain't going to get it, and $10 ain't going to get it. I did a video with an XRP calculator in it where I actually put the number of coins and all the different factors in there. You can look up some of the banks and institutions and come up with a figure of how much money they use or send and receive. So if you use those figures, you can very quickly get to XRP $25 because one of the reasons is they don't care about price. You and I, we care about price. We will be the benefactor of the indiscriminate buyer. We will be the benefactor of the banks and institutions purchasing, which sounds like a funny word to use, but purchasing XRP to use it and send it across. Now, the question arises, what if they lease it? Well, even if they lease it, it still has to be first of all, it has to be available to lease. Next, it has to be able to represent the value that they want to move. So you're going to have, I mean, we already know there was 1,700 companies with non-disclosure agreements that they couldn't disclose who these 1,700 institutions were. So we know there's at least 1,700 companies that are going to be moving value, and they're all going to be wanting XRP at the same time. Well, at $1, if you're moving 1 million, you have to buy 1 million of them. Moving 10 million, you got to buy 10 million. Well, these huge usage cases are only going to come from either the available supply on exchanges, or others go, well, there's so many 40-something billion in escrow. But you also have to understand they're not going to be so quick to use the escrow money. Number one, they can't. There's many rules surrounding the escrow. For instance, they've been releasing $1 billion a month, but they've been turning 800 million of those around, sticking it back in escrow. Did you know that they made a rule that you can't touch that 800,000 for 40 months? So we have 40 months of lockup of approximately 800,000 that's locked up. So that's close to, well, what's 800 million times 40 months? That's a lot that's locked up. So every month you end up with that being able to be unlocked again. Then there's other rules on the escrow that limit how much can be released. So it's going to be an amalgamation of some of it's going to be from escrow, some of it's probably going to be from the market maker, some of it's going to be on the open market from exchanges. And there's rules in place on what can happen and how much can be used. But it boils down to this. It boils down to the indiscriminate buyer of XRP is going to be the one, or the user of XRP is the price driver. We will benefit from that. Now, we are the smallest percentage of holders. Now, if you think of Ripple and how much they're holding in escrow, dude, that's their bank accounts. They're not going to unload all of their bank account and not have anything in the future, right? So they may lease it, but it's still going to have the same effect on what they can lease. The same effect is still going to happen to you and me. It is going to be institutions purchasing large amounts, and then the institution they're sending it to selling large amounts. Some of them will be holding for a day or two. We know, according to the crypto rules, they can't accumulate a ton because it's considered a risky asset. So they have a certain percentage that they can hold, but those are quarterly reports. So they just have to be clean on the quarterly report. So they can hold it for an amount of time, and they may do that. They may emulate what Vostro Nostro accounts are doing by just, when I say emulate, they may hold on to a lot of XRP, knowing they're going to send some tomorrow or need some tomorrow if they get a ton sent to them. So they may hold on to it. They're going to work for their best interest according to how they move money, which if you ask me, doing all of these individual transactions wouldn't be conducive when you know you're going to need to send some tomorrow. Why wouldn't you hang on to it today? Because there's fees involved when you're buying and selling. So it would make sense to me that they will probably clean up quarterly. So I just wanted to share that with you, that I call it the indiscriminate buyer, but it's the banks and institutions who will be using XRP who do not care about price. That is the additional information that is the update on the very first video I did, which was XRP 25,000 overnight. It went viral. And the one that I just released yesterday, which is by the same title but just has update, it's close to surpassing the. It's had 45 some odd thousand views, and it hasn't been a day yet. So it's obvious to me that people are liking the video. But I wanted to describe the indiscriminate buyer as a separate video because I feel like it's a truth that that I haven't seen anybody else talk about, but it is a truth. And so I wanted to just throw that out there because it's an exciting piece of news. It's as exciting or more exciting than Gary Gensler is stepping down. Gary Gensler has announced he's stepping down on Inauguration Day. So he wants to be a thorn in the flesh until the very day, you know, this guy. And you know what? He reminds me of the manager of the nuclear plant on The Simpsons, Mr. Burns. Doesn't he remind you of Mr. Burns? All right. So anyway, that's what I have. Please like and subscribe. I've had 1,000.
Yeah, we're goofy ass looking dude, man. But anyway, welcome to the show, Brother Muhammad. Brother Muhammad, where you at?
Peace and blessings, bro. How you doing?
You got your video on?
Yeah, my video's off right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just had a quick question for our brother. What's his name? Isaiah?
No, Elias.
Elias. Okay, our brother Elias. Peace and blessings, brother Elias.
Hey, Brother Muhammad, real quick. Thank you.
Yes,
I prefer
sir.
you call me Black.
Call you Black?
Yeah, Blacksmith, as in blacksmith. That's my name.
Okay, no problem. I like that name. I like that name. All right, brother Black. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So my question is, you were talking about Donald Trump and all that. My question that I have is, if he was already president, right? Then, so you're saying he wasn't already president?
No, I'm gonna explain it again. Hear me when I explained it before?
I may have missed something because I was traveling, so I may have missed something.
Okay. So I'm gonna, because I explained it, but I'm gonna explain it again, and I'm gonna try to fill it in if you have any questions after I say what I'm about to say. Now,
okay.
He never conceded from the 2020 election. Is that correct?
I don't know whether he conceded or not. I don't know.
Okay, he didn't concede. And what I'm saying to you is, this is Donald Trump, who is known for have gone broke 8 or 9 different times in the 80s and 90s. Do you remember that time at one time, brother?
I never was a person that kept up with Donald Trump, so I don't know whether he went broke or not.
Yeah, well, I'm from New York, and I remember it very intimately, and you can look it up and find out how many times he was bailed out, blah, 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 on and on and on. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, when he did that tour when he became president, he went to the Middle East, he went to the Vatican, he made everybody give up the doctrine of discovery. Okay, and that made him the exqueture of the earth, the exqueture of a company, of a organization you know, a corporation, anything big like that, is the financial master of that genre. Okay, making Donald Trump the person who is going to be responsible for seeing the transition from the dollar to merging with the BRICS to make a world currency where all money is equal wherever you go. You can buy the same bottle of Coca-Cola for $1 and the equivalent in any country you go to in the world. Now, of course, if you're in a more elite community, it might be $1.25, but it ain't going to be $4. In other words, the money is going to be equal because there's enough gold to back all currencies, and then whatever's in their land, which you call a floating basket of currency. So I'm basically saying that he played the back to form a world government anchored by the United States, Russia, and China. Any questions?
Yes. Okay. So I did find a story about Trump from the CBC, where a video he posted on Twitter, and that he did concede the election in the post, in the video that he did on Twitter. That's the first part. Then
That's 2020 election we're talking?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And so then, you know, if we go by your reporting that he didn't, and then the thing with the dollar, Coca-Cola supposed to be the same with $1 wherever you go. But we know that has not actually happened, because when you go into countries where the dollar is less or more than what they're using as their local currency, then that Coke will be either more or less than $1. So like if you go to Qatar, or you go to Kuwait, their money costs more than our dollar. So a Coca-Cola in Kuwait is going to cost you more than $1, because the dollar doesn't hold as good as the Kuwaiti dinar holds. And then when we look at how Trump was running for president, and he was talking about things that Biden and Harris done, if he was president, then things wouldn't been the way that they were for the 3.5 years, going on 4 years now. Because if he was president, then he could make those changes. He wouldn't even have to run for president, because he would have always been president. So that's where I'm having that problem following what you're saying, when we see in reality that he was not president. Biden was president and Harris was vice president. I mean, he even admitted that in the debates. So I'm trying to get an understanding.
Okay, I think I know where I did what I didn't say this time that I said the first time. You say you found the article saying he conceded, right?
Correct.
Do me a favor and drop that in the chat for me, because I've never heard that before. Okay, now with that said, what I said was he was the president of the new republic that's being transitioned from the bankrupt and defunct corporation. We're in a new republic, but it's transitioning as we speak. And this is why things is going so slow. This is why you saw him shot on a stage. And if you if you believe that that was really him and that that was a real gun that just scraped his face, then you're a bigger idiot than I could ever imagine. There's no way you're going to leave somebody that important, that exposed on television for everyone in the world to have seen. Okay? So what this is a show, and what you believe will determine where we're going. I can't prove anything I said, but I can see it because it's meant to be a show. It's theatrical. Enjoy it. We're going where we need to, because if you don't want to take it on an actual governmental, political, physical existence, remember, we dealing with some cosmic shit too. And the mandate that Donald Trump got is not from U.S. generals or some Illuminati Rothschild people. It's from the Galactic Federation.
And do you have proof of these things that you're saying?
I just said I don't.
Right. Okay. So
I have hold on. Let me say this real quick because I see where you're
go
going.
ahead.
I have an issue with people thinking that everything needs to be proven. We ain't never been out of this firmament that I know of. So you could believe in some man coming to another man and being his God because he's shown in the light, or you could believe what I said. They're just as believable in my way of looking at life. I can't prove that, and I wouldn't try to, bro. So, real talk.
Right. And so and I appreciate what you just said. I really do. And I don't know whether you said that prior to your talking, because like I said, we were driving, so things was going in and out. But I do appreciate that, because when you make that point that you can't prove what you're saying, this is what you believe, and it's up for people to either accept it or let it alone. That you're doing a good job to letting people know, look, this is what I believe. You don't have to accept it. I'm not telling you this is the actual facts, but this is what I believe. And I think that it will do our community great justice if more people, if all of us, do what you just did, because then it sheds everything in the perfect light. And I know for me, if I can't prove it, I'm not going to say it. So, but I appreciate 100% what you just said. And, that just, in my eyes, I gained a whole new level of respect for you, as a person, as a Black man, as a person that's saying out what you believe. And with that, I don't have anything else to say, but thank you for being straight up and being yourself.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Much love. We need to do this again soon. And
Well,
do me a favor, brother.
Both of y'all need to go shut up and sit down. That's what you need.
We ain't trying to make the conversation heavy again. Brother Donald Muhammad, before you go, please drop the PPC link.
We're gonna wrap it out. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, I'll drop it in there.
Okay, thank you. Peace.
Okay, yes, sir. Peace.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll wrap it up. Where'd you leave it at the final comments? And you'll go first. Go ahead.
Man, another great show, my brother. Always a pleasure to have me be on with you and meeting a good brother and getting some good communication out there, man. I'm totally optimistic about the near future, brother. On all ends.
If you can,
So
come on to the show. Come on to Brother Maurice's show tomorrow, 4:00. I mean, if you can.
What time you said again?
4:00 Eastern time.
4:00. Okay, I'm going to try my best to be here so I can at least look.
I'll send you the link. Right.
I'll brother. Thank you. Right,
but go ahead.
But
final comment.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I feel nothing but optimism and good vibrations. I mean, things is still tough, but things is slowly getting better. So we just keep living. pushing through, not hoping, not wishing. You know, we push and we get to where we need to be. And with brothers like yourselves, man, you know, it's gonna be a fun ride. It's gonna get bumpy, but it's gonna be fun too. The bumper cards, man, sometimes on impact it hurt just that much, but you're looking for the next one. You know what I'm saying? So take that ride and know there's gonna be bumps in the road. But if you season them bumps, is gonna season you well. So just take them and keep the ride up, and then know we're gonna get back on land on our feet and doing what we really need to do in life. So with that said, brother, I'm not gonna hold you. Oh, let me just before we go, let me let y'all know I got 2 books. One is the semi-autobiography on my life. The name of it is I Ain't Perfect, But Take It From Me. And my other book is an expose on the entertainment industry. So I was talking about all of this stuff that's coming out in the last year or two, 10, 11 years ago when Professor Griff and Black Dot was doing it. So if you want to compare me to anybody, they were my influences. I'm not even going to say I didn't, you know, I took ideas from them. I didn't take their information, you know what I'm saying? Because I did my own research for these books. They're both are over 300 pages, so they're not like, and not double spaced either. They're books, you know, written like how scholars used to write them. So once again, my name is Blacksmith. I know on the show my brother calls me Elias, but that's my Facebook name. It was my Facebook name. If you want to get at me, you know, you can do it through my brother Isaiah or as Basil Medina on Facebook. And with that said, one love to the people. We gonna make it. Keep on pushing, and let's get it. My brother Isaiah, is back to you.
All right. Now, normally I would end this about 2 hours and 30 minutes at the most because I'm getting too old for all this. Brother Don, thank you for coming on, man. Yeah, you're right. But we were saying that, man, Larry Finger's about to pull a big one on everybody in the world, man. If that is true, trillions of dollars are going to be flowed back into the pockets of BlackRock. And the fact that he was the cause of the 2008 home crisis and failure, where thousands upon tens of thousands of people, if not millions, I doubt if it's millions, but hundreds of thousands perhaps, suffered, and a lot of people died from heart attacks and strokes and all of that, and losing their home and being told that you can get this property for $1 million. They got that kind of credit, no money, and they made hundreds of billions of dollars off of that. So if there's any justice in this world, then I think it's time for bringing Larry Fink down and BlackRock down, because all they doing is just killing people and collecting money because they don't give a fuck.
Hey,
oh
brother
man, I don't
Isaiah,
know. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you. I apologize because I know you're trying to get off, but I got to ask a question because you kind of brought it to my attention. Did you hear when Diddy got arrested that a lot of big time, maybe middle guys, but not the top, but a lot of middle guys in the entertainment industry, a lot of them resigned? The business guys, not actors, actresses, rappers, singers, and all that. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't know. What happened now?
Okay, when Diddy got arrested, a whole bunch of executives from the entertainment industry resigned. Some of them left.
Right.
Was that? I know it had a lot to do with the pedophile stuff and all that other stuff, but what about the financial component? Because some of these guys is like multi-millionaire. They might not be billionaires, but they $200-300 million in the game. What is the connection there, if any, that we can, or these guys in hedge funds or in big accounts that, like, you know, they put in 20 million, they get back 150 million like 3 months later and shit like that. Is there some type of connection there as well? Between Jay-Z and Diddy, that's over $3 billion because you got to include Beyonce in there too.
Right. I would say yes and no. It really depends. But all of that Hollywood, weird, and the record industry is all phony baloney. It's all corrupt, and it's all child trafficking, adult trafficking, and all of that. So, I would say yes, and then I would say no because not everybody that I know of was a part of it. Now, I've heard that the black guy that created, that founded, or that found the Jackson Five, what's his name? Black guy? Yeah, he was, from what I heard, he was worse than Diddy.
Oh, Berry Gordy?
And then,
Berry
yeah,
Gordy.
Berry Gordy. So he was worse than Diddy. So who knows, man? The shit is corrupt, and it need to be wiped out. It need to be cleaned up. It need to be based on merit, not based on how big your ass is and how many times I can fuck you in your ass. You know what I mean? I'm just being on an up and up.
That whole
So,
system is based on Kabbalistic Talmudism, man. That's all it is.
yeah. That's all it is. And
It's the same
ain't
thing.
got shit to do. It ain't got shit to do with the devil. It got the devil within the person, and all this ritualistic bullshit that they're talking about. You got to be a part of in order to make you millions. And people just dumb enough to fall for that dumb shit. You feel me? Hold on. Let me go to. We'll wrap it up. Let me go to this one. You got to see this one. Man, now just imagine what the CIA is capable of. So, they can do a lot of things more advanced than that. And with this mask thing that you were talking about with Biden, that's not Biden. And that's the guy that you were talking about who's a B-class actor and all of that. We've seen Uncle Pappy being Robin Williams, Robin Williams, right? So there's a lot of shady shit going on that you just cannot trust your eyes on. But we'll pick it up next week. I appreciate you being on, coming on, Brother Maurice. And to answer your question, how much money? I put in $15,000 to buy 50. Oh, you do that? How much is that? I put in $15,000 whenever aggregately, not all at once, to buy 30,000 XRP. It's at $1.50 now, so you're looking at 30, 60, about $75,000 minus the 15. So we're looking at $60,000 within a 3-week period. That's not bad. I can sell out and be happy, but I ain't. I'm looking to make at least 30 million, somewhere around there. I don't know. And
Hey,
then
I
I'm
need you to
out.
send me 60,000 right now, man.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a wild ride, Brother Donald. Well, I mean, it's okay. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I don't mind saying how much money I'm made. Ain't no big deal. But I can tell you this: get in on the get in. Don't be late. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. Cause scared money ain't no good money, and scared money don't make no money. Y'all playing tiddlywink and footsie with your money, going somewhere like the lottery, trying to buy a lottery ticket and getting rich that way. That's not how it happens. You have to be consistent. You have to be prepared. You have to look for opportunities, and this is an opportunity. XRP, XLM, and it's just a matter of time. Patience is one of the main ingredients of a successful investor. Strategy: buying low, expanding on the difference, and selling high. Taking the money and run to the bank and laugh your ass off. No, it ain't fun being broke, bro. It ain't fun being broke. Hell no. Yeah, thank God. Some people go through it, but I don't know what it is to be hungry, and I don't know what it is to have my lights off, not being able to pay my bills. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I never experienced that in my life. I've always had food it might have been the best of foods, but I always had food in my refrigerator that I like, and I always had clothes in my back that I like, and I always had a vehicle or whatever that I like. I'm not one to buy no $300,000 car that loses value. So I live my life based on. He went to Iceland on the 20th. It ended today, but Muhammad. So yeah. So I live below my means, Brother Don. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, Brother Elias will be there too. So get your weight up, get your money in order, get your shit in order. Stop complaining, blaming, and all of that. Because really, at the end of the day, it's on you. Nothing is stopping you from doing what you want to do. Nothing. I don't give a damn what it is. And at the time that so-called black people were slaves, Madam C.J. Walker, pay attention. Madam C.J. Walker, an ex-slave, went to New York, escaped, started her hair line business, and became a multimillionaire and made a lot of other people millionaires, black people millionaires. Her master, so-called, never came in and got her. If she can make it at that time, motherfucker, what's your goddamn problem?
Hey, listen, that's a whole different. That I got a whole different take on that woman in particular. But if we stayed on the show, we're gonna go another 20 minutes. So we're gonna have to pick it up again if you want to next time.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. We got time. Go ahead. We got time.
Oh, now look, if we're gonna be another 20 minutes, easy, bro.
All right. Well, go ahead. Break it off.
I'm not gonna make it long because it don't have to be long. Supposedly, this is again rumor, but I've seen it in a few places and it has credibility. And what made me think of it was when you said her slave master never came to get her. And we know how they could be back in them times about especially they wenches. That's what they call them, wenches. You're like a jump off whore that's just there for me to fuck when I would feel like it. But anyway, the point I'm making is she got up north and she learned how to read and she got up with the high and mighty. She was married to a Rockefeller, right?
Who?
See, Madam C.J. Walker.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She lived in a house in Tarrytown, New York, which is right outside of the Bronx, maybe about 15, 20 miles up. And it was rumored that she had tunnels underneath her house. She was living in Tarrytown, New York. Them houses back then was like $1 million. I'm talking 1700s. I don't know exactly the timeline. 17 somethings or maybe early 18s. But anyway, she lived up there and she had a giant house. And those houses is like the houses where Puffy and Hugh Hefner and all them niggas was living in LA. Basements with, cellars that go from house to house to house. And you got to know that you ain't just going down there and wind up where you want the first time. You wind up in a whole other country walking through the tunnels thinking you know where you're going. So what I'm saying is that it was woman, and that's why her name was Madam. Because back then, Madam meant like you pimping hoes or niggas.
Right.
Yeah, who else has that title in history that's well regarded? Madam at that time meant you running a whorehouse.
I feel you on that one.
Right. If you said madame, you were talking to a lady.
Right.
It's the same word, but one means something and the other one means something else.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say on her in particular.
Okay. Okay, Brother Marie said not doing slavery, that's not correct. Hold on for a second. Madam, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it, spelling it, Madam C.J. Walker. So we're going to 1867 and 1919. So, yeah, okay. Slavery ended in 1865. So, okay, all right. All right. So she lived during the Jim Crow era and all of that. She died in 1919. Okay, all right. Well, you're right, Brother Muhammad. So, but still, you know, it marks a big turn in the lives of somebody that was a so-called former slave or slave period or during that time that was rough for black people. And she took it upon herself to go to New York. And I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know the full scale of her. Yeah, she lived next door to him. Yeah. You know what her full story is, but the idea that she started penniless with nothing, basically, and became a millionaire and helped a lot of other black folk become millionaires with her product. So, all right, so now we are where we are. So I really appreciate everybody coming on. Brother Donald, Brother Maurice, Brother Willie, and everybody that's watching. I really appreciate you guys standing on. So hold on, let me make sure you check out. Oh shit! Make sure you check out my book, The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, available on Amazon. It's a 2-volume book, a 2-volume work. Book 1 deal with why white people hate black people so much, and the second book deal with understanding white supremacy, which is nothing but an overreaction to black oppression and black supremacy. And then evil will always destroy itself, and the N always, ALLWAYS. And for those who take part in it, always ALWAYS. And then let's see. And you can support the show on a Patreon at /WMB333. And remember, always, united we stand, but divided we fall, and stay in the same shithole. And the brand. Let me see. This is the book. Hold on. Let me get out of this stop screen. So this is the book. Can you see that? No, you can't see that. But anyway, hold on. Let me get it out of the way. Hold on.
Get our pictures off the screen.
Huh? Yeah. Hold on.
Take our pictures off the screen.
Yeah. How do you? What the hell?
I'm sure there's a way you can put it on the side panel or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm clicking it. But
I don't know, bro. Maybe it's time for us to go.
Yeah. I believe so. Cause my wife is looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
she finna whip
you
your
got the
butt.
white woman. Yeah. The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit. You got the white woman with the tail, and then book 2. Damn, I got a lot of these. What the hell happened? This is okay. You know what? And then here it is. And book 2, you will see it on Amazon. Understanding White Supremacy, book 2. All right, so that's it. So I really appreciate you guys coming on, and I'll see you tomorrow, Brother Maurice, and then hopefully Brother Elias can come on to the show. We can really turn it off. We can set it off. Let me turn it off. Set it off like we always do. So we always remember what happened. Okay, that's why the internet is all fucked up. So as we always say on this show, 365, 24/7, stay black. And peace out, brother. You know it.